Hans Pitchy Stockman here on the hosting. You can call me Hans, you can call me Pitchy. I don't particularly care. And we are coming up with our next event. Rykon Gaming is running Middle-earth Shadow of War. Oh, this is Shadow of War? Is it? Yeah, yes. Shadow of War. So that's the first one, right?
Shadow of War is the second one.
Okay, the second one. This is the one with the Nemesis gimmick and stuff, right?
Yes, correct.
Cool. So we have a $30 donation from RykonGamingAU saying, "Hi, future RykonGamingAU. It's past RykonGamingAU. Donating my entry fee. Please remember also to not forget the Traitor's Gate War Chief glitch. And thanks to the ASM staff for their hard work." So what does that mean?
I have had a history of every time I've tried to show this run to completely forget a glitch which can save us up to 2.5 minutes, and I only have one shot at it. So famously, even in my PB, I've completely forgotten to do it. So I don't know why I forget it. It's such an easy glitch, but it's just something that slips my mind every single time. So I thought I'd embarrass myself, and let's see if I can actually remember to do it.
We have a $15 donation from Trip here. "Let's go, RykonGamingAU. Go nail the run. Send the money towards runner's choice of incentive." So what is your choice of incentive?
I do love a good glitch exhibition, so definitely the Banjo-Kazooie glitch exhibition.
Banjo-Kazooie. Beautiful. Yes, we only need about $140 to get that one met, so get going, people. Alrighty, I believe we're good to go, so I'm happy to start this clock whenever you're ready.
Okay, just a very quick housekeeping things, just because I promised my wife I would. My co-commentator for the night is my dog Arthas. He will cover mostly the snoring portion of this run. And my son left me his toy Bulbasaur, if you can see it over there in the corner. They don't talk much, but they do like to stare and judge, so just so everyone's aware, they're my co-commentators for tonight. The other thing is that I have to show you deleting my save file. It's actually a condition on speedrun.com, because at the moment I delete my save file, my seed is now set for the next run, and essentially with enough time and patience I can pull apart the game files and figure out exactly the RNG seed of this file. So part of the restrictions is we do that. But without further ado, I can give you a countdown from 5 and we can get going. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so like I said before, my name is RykonGamingAU. This is Middle-earth Shadow of War. This is the any percent category, which I am currently holding the second place to. And we get to go as soon as he says, "I will find you." First thing you're going to notice straight off the bat is that we're playing in English. I will actually explain that in a little bit of time, but right now all you need to know is that we are running directly to a low point in the game. So this is meant to be the movement stealth tutorial of the game, but thankfully we can just bypass the whole thing. Okay.
Love this Benny Hill running past the orcs you're doing.
Yeah, with playing on easy, we spend a lot of time just running past orcs who are so oblivious. You'll see it when we come up to a captain fight in a moment. The orcs just don't react fast on easy at all. So we get quite a few little moments like that. Now for the hardest trick in the game, because I fail this all the time, even though it is a very, very simple movement. You're going to jump off this ledge, sprint, and I got it, cool. And we're going to interrogate this guy for some knowledge. He's going to give us knowledge on a captain. It is always the same captain. This is one of the very few captains that aren't RNG in the game. We know his weaknesses and his strengths. So captains are essentially mini bosses in the game. We're going to see a lot of them throughout the run. The vast majority of them are RNG, and I hope you like the word RNG because I'm going to be using it a lot during this run. But essentially, we're going to be seeing them a lot of the time. So now we get the bow tutorial. And have to wait half a second here. So, oh, that's a bad shot. That's okay. Just finish that guy off with a quick sword attack. He's dead.
It doesn't look good for the gun.
And worst part of the game, puzzle solve. Those puzzles. Thankfully, that one was nice to me today. Sprint up here, and we're going to pull out the bow early and blow up the barrel to skip a cutscene. Now, the bottom left contains all of my information for the run that you're going to need. The most important one is the white bar above my arrow count. That is my focus bar. That allows me not only to slow time while I'm sprinting, slow time while I'm pulling out my bow, but it also is my sprint meter. So I need to spend some time managing that. We do have a glitch to make it a little easier to manage, but that is the main focus. And here we get to see how bad the orcs are on easy. We can walk right in front of him and still get a stealth attack. Wait 2 seconds, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 bow shots to the head. Oop, he's got a little more. I must have missed his head there, but that's okay on the second attack. He's down. And that's our first essential boss of the game. Very easy to kill, and he will always drop a sword. Most drops are RNG in the game, however that first sword drop is not. Okay, so we're going to see your first glitch. I'm going to let go of all the controls and then re-sprint at the same time. And you can actually see it's not chewing up any of my focus meter. I can't recharge my focus meter while this is happening, but I can essentially get a free sprint out of it. These first few seconds are sort of like capture the hill sections. We've got to defeat X number of orcs to move on here. Come on. There we go. And we've got just enough focus to sprint through here, and then we'll need to wait for it to recharge. Now, whenever we get to one of these points, we can actually start the fight with a donkey shot, which is an unpowered shot. You'll see it here. And it will guarantee kill any orc it hits. Most of the time, the sword orcs will take a 3/4 shot to the head to kill, and the bow-wielding orcs will just take a full-powered shot to anywhere on their body. Okay, that was really fast on the second section. Now, for the most part, we want to stay in front of Idril here. We're actually on an escort mission, believe it or not, and I'm just waiting for my focus to recharge. I actually came through that area too fast, so that's okay. But you can see here, once I start getting too far away from Idril, I'm actually going to get a warning message. And if I get too far away, I will fail the mission. So, we're just going to sprint up to here, get very close to failing the mission, start the... oh, that was a bad shot of me. Start the fight off with a bow shot, and then continue fighting from there. Ooh, I get the opportunity to get a second stealth, because again, easy. They still didn't notice me after I killed the first guy with stealth. Should be this guy. To be dead, and then we should move on. Oh, no, the humans are not doing their job, and they miss one guy. Excellent. Moving on again here, I cannot get too far away from Idril, but so we just take a quick detour to grab these arrows. We should get the warning that we're getting too far away now, and being very careful up here, and then we can sprint into a cutscene. Alright, we now unlock the glaive, which is one of the strongest weapons in the game. Casually, it's not used that much, but in speedrunning, we use it a ton. Our goal here is just to kill all of these orcs. I'm actually going to try to perform a glitch on the last orc that will be alive, but I've got to make sure that they're actually going to be alive. Okay, might pick that orc. Yes, I got it. Okay, so I started draining him as he died, which skipped a animation of slowdown. And that's essentially the first mission. And that was a lot to take in, but it gets a bit slower from there. Okay, so we just went into our talent tree. We're forced to unlock a talent called Elven Agility. Thankfully, we would unlock it anyway because it is insanely good. It allows us to get free focus by jumping over small objects, and it also allows us to climb really, really fast, as you'll see here. There are 2 different types of cinematics in this game. There are in-game cinematics like this one, which are unskippable outside of crashing the game, but crashing the game is never faster because of the load times of this game. And then there are pre-rendered CGI cutscenes which can all be skipped. So a little bit of menuing here. The game's going to pop up with another. There it is. And, oh, I failed the jump. That's okay. Only about 2 seconds lost, but it looks really bad. Alrighty. And here we're going to unlock our first fast travel point. The game forces us to play in a mini game of the fast travel point. I'm just listening for an audio cue now.
These towers can give us sight.
We will purify them.
There's the audio cue, so as soon as he says the word purify, we can start channeling on this. The game forces us to play the minigame, however, if you just go to the last piece in the minigame, the game's over, thankfully, so you don't really have to do that.
My kingdom, yet something
Okay. And now we move on to the second mission of the game. And even if this mission was optional, we would still do it as speedrunners because it is going to unlock the most powerful ability in the game for us. So we're going to sprint down this hall. One thing I didn't explain before is that Elven Sight. It gives me the ability to see long distances and see captains at long distance. This is it now. But it does reduce my overall visibility in-game. It also unlocks that door, which is why I have to use it there, but we'll see that a few times throughout the run. Alright, so here we're just basically focusing on trying to kill as many orcs as possible. You can see in the right-hand side of our minimap, we now have another bar that's slowly filling up with the blue. That is our Elven Rage, and we're going to actually have to use it here. It doesn't matter if I kill my own orcs or enemy orcs here. I prefer killing enemy orcs, but take what I can get. And this is Elven Rage. It basically freezes time and allows us to shoot a ton of arrows here. And that's the mission over. Okie dokie. So we're going to fast travel back to that fast travel point we just unlocked before. Can I get the jump? Oh no, I fail that all the time. You can jump straight up to this building. It saves around 2 seconds, but I always fail it. It's a weird angle for me. Anyway, the game is now going to force us to unlock a gem slot since we just unlocked a gem. We're not actually going to socket that gem yet. We're going to save it for a little bit later. I'll explain when we do use it. But know that gems are mostly for different stat boosts in this game. The white gem specifically, we're going to put in our armor piece, which is going to give us more increased XP gain, which is going to allow us to level up faster and get all the really cool abilities. Okay, moving on to Seeing Stone. Hopefully I'm not going too fast and all of this makes sense so far.
It's all making sense on my end, but how many boxes did you have destroy in the last level to get that gem?
I had to make sure that I killed 10 orcs to get that gem, so...
Okay, no Wumpa fruit required.
No more Wumpa fruit required, thankfully.
There'll be more.
Alright, we're going to see a weird little glitch here. The game just expects you to follow edge rule here, but the actual trigger point to move on to the mission is to see this beast over here. So we're just going to jump over here, and the game's just going to warp us up to where it thinks we should have seen the beast from.
The city can't take much more. I'll handle the siege.
Saves around 10-12 seconds. The world record holder, Kaiser, he found a lot of these glitches. I believe he's actually in chat right now as well, so you can say hi, guys. Oops.
So this should prove interesting.
Oh my golly gosh, my shooting is off today. Okay, my shooting is really off today. That should have taken 2 arrows, but that's okay. Alright, so this is actually an example of a game breaking its rules. It does this a lot. We don't actually have the talent to do this, to take over this siege beast, but the game will let us do it for mission critical purposes, but we won't get that talent till a little bit later. Here we're just blowing up a lot of orcs.
Another siege beast is in range.
Also, I'm playing on the lowest graphics, which is why that tower over there looks really broken. That's actually just purely for load times. Thankfully, load times aren't too bad in this game, but running on lowest graphics does reduce them quite a bit.
It's a formidable weapon.
And here we're going to see the only instance of using Elven Rage for its one really unknown feature, and that is it also gives us increased movement speed. There'll be times where we'll use it to kill something and then run afterwards, but that is essentially the only time we're going to use it, purely for the fact that it gives us movement speed. So these little boxes that you can see me jumping over there, what's giving me a free boost from the Elven Agility talent we took before. And we'll run up here. Hopefully my shooting's not so bad. I've only got 3 arrows left. Okay, that's fine. And same thing again. So if you have a donation or anything you need to read out or any questions from chat, now's a good time while I just do the same thing with the siege engines.
We have 2 donations. $15 from Trip. Let's go RykonGamingAU. Go nail the run. Send the money towards a runner's choice of incentive. So that's gone to Banjo-Kazooie. $10 from Vegeta. Good luck, RykonGamingAUS. My lord.
That is my wife. So thank you very much, honey.
Nice. Is the Bulbasaur going to make any donations anytime soon?
Depends on how they're feeling. They're very judgmental at the moment, constantly staring at me, so we'll see what happens.
Return to the upper city. Check on Idril and the others.
Okay, so we're going to now move on. We're actually going to level up for the first time, grab some talents. I'll explain them as we grab them. Most of them are pretty straightforward, hopefully, to understand. But first, we're actually going to go in our inventory and unlock the armor slot. Putting a white gem in an armor slot gives us increased XP, as I mentioned before. We're going to grab the execute ability here, which allows us to build up a combo meter and use it to do damage. And we're going to grab the ability to teleport to open campfires. And finally, we're going to fast travel to the second zone in the game. This is personally my favourite zone. This is Kirith, and it is basically the lair of Shelob the spider, although she's an ally in this game. Very complicated. I won't go into my weird conspiracy theories on why I think she's actually the enemy, but just have it known that I don't think she's an ally, but the game wants us definitely to treat her as one. Alrighty. We're going to climb this tower and grab this waypoint, even though it seems weird since we have a waypoint right at the level border. We're actually going to use this later on to come back to, and it is slightly faster than going back to the level edge. Thankfully, we don't have to play the little mini game on this one. We just pick it up now, exit out. Oop, one too many exit presses, that was my fault. And pull out our bow, and now we're going to use that teleport to fire ability. So you can see we're starting to unlock some movement abilities. We will get more as the run goes on, and we'll start bouncing around all the place by about level 15, 16. But for now, we run through this turret. Oh, that was not the right ability. And we really, really hope here that we see a Karagor in this upcoming cage. Oh, fuck it. That's bad RNG. Nothing we can do about it. But all good. We're going to fight our first O-Log. I say O-Log very pronounced because I call them O-Lags, so I apologise in advance if I say that throughout the run. And that's purely because they used to lag my old computer. But they're nice and easy to deal with. They're quite tanky, obviously taking 5 bow shots compared to 1 for a guard. And now we're going to see Golem. So Golem's meant to be escorting us here. Thankfully we don't have to wait for him. I am very low on focus, so I'm going to be doing the focus sprint glitch again and releasing go. Hopefully I get this jump off these rocks. It's never awkward. Didn't get it, but that's okay. And now we're just going to take these free sprints to let our focus recharge during the cutscene.
They are all on car.
Okay.
The assassin must be stopped. Gollum.
And the developers built in a lot of precautions to make sure you couldn't soft-lock yourself. Here's a good example right here. I don't have any arrows, and the next part I need arrows. The game is just going to randomly give me arrows right now to make sure that I don't get soft-locked by having to shoot that nest. So there are lots of instances of that. Here we're essentially escorting Golem. Now Golem is actually the escort, and if we get too far away from him it will break his pathing, so we need to be careful not to run too far away. So you'll see me going slow here. And if we've done this all right, he will actually spawn the body. So Golem is actually the trigger to spawn the body, which he did, so that means we did not get too far away from him. Perfect. So find the second body, and then we're going to find the third body for the captain. What's happening right now in the story is we're essentially hunting down a war chief. The way rankings for orcs goes in this, it is captains, war chiefs, and then overlords. They're essentially all the same type of mob. They can be different qualities like normal, rare, or epic. But they're essentially all the type of same orcs, it's just their rankings. So now we're killing these guys with Elven Rage, and we're using the remainder of the Elven Rage to sprint through. Nice and simple.
Stay another victim. Yet this one's
Okay, so this mission is essentially, this is all the tutorials. This game is essentially teaching us all the little bits bit by bit. This game is teaching us about weaknesses. We've already abused a weakness, and I could probably talk about the states of captains. I'm going to use captains as an acronym for captains, war chiefs, and overlords. So they essentially have 4 states we'll see them in. They have a normal state, a day state like this state here, where essentially they can't do anything to us. Oops, that was the wrong button, but that's okay, doesn't matter too much. A day state where they can't do anything and they actually lose their immunities. So that captain is normally immune to arrows, but while he's in the day state, he loses that immunity. There's also another state called Enraged, where they take 50% less damage, do 50% more damage, and cast their special abilities quite more often, so that's really bad. And there's one more state called Terrified, which is when they're actively running away from us. Alright, so we're going to fast travel back here and keep going.
We are behind enemy.
So this is why we get this part of the reason why we get this waypoint. We get in perfect range to spawn to this campfire, dash over here, and keep going.
We should finish what we started and kill the war chief's final bodyguard.
We're not going to level up. Oh, I am stuck on invisible terrain. That's great. Always good when that happens. And we're just going to be running up to this next mission. Alright, so this mission is going to talk to us about bodyguards and teach us about how bodyguards. So war chiefs can have, I believe it's up to 5 bodyguards attached to them. And essentially, if you go and fight the war chief while they've still got bodyguards attached to them, those bodyguards will come and fight you as well. So you can end up being a huge amount of orcs being fought. But we're actually going to abuse that fact later on in the game and use it to our advantage. But for now, this is all just mandatory stuff.
You sound like you've had some experience in this.
I've had enough.
Okay. Thankfully, hopefully that's the last of those puzzles. I really dislike those puzzles. Thankfully they've gone along quite well and had no problems. And remember before how I said that it's not seeing a Caragor before was a disadvantage? Here's why. The first time you encounter a beast of each type, it will actually spin around to see you. So watch here, this one sees me. Now there is a very good chance that that captain knows where we are. Thankfully for some reason he's dazed on the ground. I don't actually know what dazed him there, but I will take it happily. So we can just abuse this for a little bit. I'm not going to abuse it for too long. There is another thing I haven't talked about yet, and that is opening and closing lines of captains, war chiefs, and overlords. So essentially, they all have opening and closing lines. So obviously, those lines, when they deliver them, are really, really slow, and we don't want to see a single one of them. So we're going to endeavour to keep them all stunned during that process, so that we don't get their opening lines, and we're going to kill them with specific methods, aka using the bow, using the glaive, or using elemental effects, so that we don't get their closing lines. And that also leads me into talking about language. That's a really good thing to talk about language. English is not the fastest version to run on. And believe it or not, because I love talking about RNG so much. Oh, that's actually bad RNG, that orc being there, but I'll discuss that in a moment. RNG on top of RNG. Essentially, it is RNG what language is fastest. French is generally considered the fastest, on average it is. However, because all of the orc lines are random, all of the outposts that we take, the lines of those overlords are random, it can be completely random and arbitrary what what language is fastest. But essentially, French is considered the fastest. I'm running on English because there is a audio glitch halfway through the game which absolutely blows my ears, and I normally turn the game down. That only seems to happen on French and Spanish, so I am running it on French today, English today, just so I don't blow everyone else's ears in chat.
Right now, this one war chief.
Okay.
You
Cool.
said you were going to talk about English,
to
and I
help.
thought, whoa, we're
This
going to
war
get a
chief
lecture
you're
on
after.
like the
It's not
history of the
one
Elvish
right.
tongue in true
We've
Tolkien
run down war
fashion.
chiefs before.
No, just RNG in this game. You can't even know what language is going to be fastest for your run until the run's over.
I'll take out his archers first.
This game
Let him
has
move in after I
so much RNG in it, but it's part of the reason I love playing it so much. Alright, so this is our first stealth mission. This is one of the better stealth missions in my mind. Up the top it says, defeat the archers without raising an alarm. That's important to note because some missions don't say alarm, they say without being detected, and that is a horrible stealth mission.
We usually work alone.
Okay,
I hope the
this
aim
shot
of these
is
Gondorian
not great.
archers is true.
Damn, bad
Otherwise, we'll
RNG
be
with the
dodging
walking
friendly
patterns of that orc,
arrows.
but that's okay.
They're
We have
experienced
backups.
soldiers. They'll do their part.
I also would like to acknowledge there is a faster route for this mission now. However, I didn't have time to learn it,
Gondorian archers.
so we're sticking with the old route, which is about 10 seconds slower. There's my arrows.
Never
Kill
underestimate
that one.
men
Grab my
fighting to protect
arrows.
their home.
This
come
is
back
not
here.
their home.
You're gonna let me stab you? Thank you. Now we're actually gonna go to where we're meant to finish the mission from, and if we've got good RNG, this guy should be out of his tent. Yep.
The signal better
Cool.
knows men.
Shout out to the orcs here. They are the most blind orcs I've ever seen, because I have no idea how they can't see the humans standing up here on the pillars at all. We can watch this in this cutscene, but how these humans are hiding is beyond me.
And grind them to dust. Together, as captains in War Chief United, we will have victory.
And here you go, you can see it right here. How they're hiding, I don't know. Okay. So I've got to do a couple of things here. I've got to immediately pull out my bow, pop this barrel, blow up that barrel. I'm shooting really badly, and in fact I have buggered up a strategy by not having enough arrows left, but that's okay. Backups are okay. Normally we would drop down to those boxes and then shoot this guy in the foot, which would disable him from giving us him lines, but I'm out of arrows, so now we have to sit through his 30-second opening line. And this is what I mean about opening lines. These can be skipped by keeping orcs stunned, but this guy has a very aggressive line. The moment he sees you, he will deliver it.
Enough jibber jabber. Take him down.
Okay. On the plus side, we can now execute him without having to stun him first, because that will not trigger his opening line again. We're going to go through our regular combo of stun, punch to the ground, ground assault, and that's it. That guy burned to death. And that's a fairly standard combo we'll be using in these early missions. Don't mind if the other guys actually hit me at this time. I'm actually going to pull out my glaive here and kill him with the glaive, just so we don't get his closing lines at all. Okay, cool. I'll actually have to go back into the pit there for that sword. I really want that sword drop. Ooh. And this is a really good time. I believe I got a white gem, so I'm actually going to unlock my cloak slot. Socket that in. Great. And I just got a red gem, which put into a weapon gives me more damage with that weapon. Okay, more damage with my sword.
Be wary, Talia. You trust her.
There was a
too
sword drop.
easily.
I must have pulled that in already.
Ignore
Cool.
what you-
Yep, got them. And got a new bow. That's really, really good. This is actually really good RNG so far for drops in the early game. Getting an extra sword and getting a new bow with an extra shot in it is really, really good. Okie dokie. So, I think my Elven Rage is a little low, so I'm just going to take up the tactics here of we're going to blow this up, and then we're going to go for the backup fire around here. Cool. And now now we'll head into Trader's Gate, which is the message that I donated for before, saying that I can't remember this. Don't forget to skip after this. So everyone in chat can yell at me if I do forget it, but it is really interesting if I show it off because it is weird and it abuses the Nemesis system, which is really, really good in this game, but we're speedrunners, so we're just going to go ahead and abuse it.
Take us to him.
Alright, Golem's going to show us this nest up here. We can't actually shoot it till Golem shows it to us. It's invulnerable, but we're going to pull out our bow, shoot it, pull out our bow again, and teleport here to skip a little cutscene of spiders crawling out of that nest. Okay. Now I get to brag here because this is one of the few strats that I found. Kaiser, the world record holder, of course, made it even better. But we're meant to normally follow this guy. That really sucks. If we instead shoot him with an arrow, he will not stop to talk to anyone and run directly to the end because he is now terrified. I did shoot him, right? Yes, I did shoot him. Okay. Normally you get a trigger saying you failed, but that was really strange. I didn't get that trigger, but he's still acting like I shot him, so that's great. We're going to summon the boys to take out these guards nice and quickly. Alright, then we're going to desummon the boys, get into a position, and we're going to see our first abuse of difficulty here. We're going to go into our options menu, and we're going to set the game to brutal. Now, brutal isn't the hardest difficulty in this game, that would be reserved for Gravewalker. However, brutal has this really weird thing where it not only increases the damage we take, and the enemies do, but it also increases the damage we do. And it doesn't correctly calculate Elven Rage damage. So we're going to essentially go into brutal, go to Elven Rage, and destroy this guy before he has a chance to talk to us, if everything goes right. I like to add if everything goes right because this game can always throw interesting things at you with RNG. We have no idea how this guy actually, what his stats are, what he could be. He could be immune to a bunch of different things, but thankfully with this strategy we don't have to find out. So we're going to immediately pop Elven Rage here, just to avoid his lines, go for the execute. Go for the second execute, and he's actually enraged by the execute, so we should hopefully get it here still. We have to wait now for his enrage to fail. So that's bad RNG, but that's the game. And he managed to one-shot me while he's enraged. So this is a bad scenario, but we're going to adapt to it. We're going to turn it back to easy now since we've done the damage to him we need. And we now also have to deal with these Caragors that are going to be here. Oh. I need to continue rolling here because this guy is enraged and he's still 10 levels above me and destroying me. Okay, cool. Yeah, this is real bad RNG, but it's what we have to deal with, so it's all good. Okay, he's no longer enraged now, hopefully. Oh no, he's still enraged. We are just going to have to wait this one out. Come on. Stop being enraged, please. Alright, I'm going to shoot that to hopefully get rid of those Caragors. Come on, buddy. Stop being enraged. Any moment now. This is some of the worst RNG I've had in this split in a very long time, but that's okay. This is why this game has so much RNG. Cool. That'll be me and Caragor. And there we go. We got the information off him in the end. Okay, cool. So, really bad RNG, but nothing we can do about it. These are the Nazgul talking to us. We're going to see the Nazgul a lot. They are a huge pain. They don't obey any of the normal combat rules in this game, and they are really, really annoying. But yeah, that's something we're going to have to deal with later in the run. Alright. This is always a guaranteed legendary drop, and it's always a cloak. Having these Caragor here is actually really bad, so I need to take care of them first. Again, more bad RNG. They should normally despawn, but they haven't. But now we're going to equip the legendary cloak that we got.
We must get it back.
We're also going to go into our character menu. We're going to grab Grog Riding. And we're going to grab Call Mount. And we're going to go back to our quests. And we're going to head back to the first zone in the game for the arena.
We have a $20 donation from Clock District. Over 3K? Let's push for 4! Donation goes to Dactyl's Yellow Spyro. I want to see that disgusting mess. Yeah, I think Yellow Spyro may actually be more gross than any of the orcs in this game.
That would be very impressive if you've seen some of the orcs in this game, but I'm sure it happens. Okay.
And we have... Oh,
Sorry, no, please, go for it. Please, go for it.
Okay, we have $16 from Fiery here. That's a cute name. It sounds like luck is the universal language that dictates your run. Good luck defeating the RNG menace. I'm gonna need it after that last fight.
I am. Alright, let's see if we get some good RNG here. Yes, he's dazed. That's thankfully nice RNG. So the game giving us a little bit of RNG back. Just keep an eye on his health total here. I don't want to trigger his final line because this guy is guaranteed to give us a closing line if we kill him through normal methods. Thankfully, we kill him through that method. Right now in the story, we're trying to buy Idril time to rescue her father. So we're going to go through a slog of a run. However, because we're playing on easy, the orcs actually that are meant to come out to fight us, most of the time can actually lose track of us. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run off to the left here. And we're going to try to get a stealth attack on this guy that's meant to be coming out and fighting us. Unfortunately it failed, but that's okay. Backup strats are always good. So, as long as we keep this guy stunned, we'll never hear his opening lines. We're going to go through the standard method of stun, knockdown, ground attack. He is enraged by acrobatics, so... that means he's taking less damage and he's going to start doing more damage to us. And he got out of the stun. So this is his opening line. Again, on average, French would save about 0.8 seconds here. And Spanish would save about 0.75 seconds. So they're very close in terms of language. But unfortunately, we never know what's going to actually be faster here. And here I'm trying to kill him with my glaive again, just to make sure that he doesn't deliver us the closing line. Alright, 2 more orcs to fight here. One we're going to be fighting through the traditional sense. We actually got the stealth on this one, so that's great. Now we have to stun him before we execute him, just to make sure he doesn't give us an opening line. And he was weak to stealth as well, so he went into daze state. And now we're going to see the first glitch of the game. The first real major glitch of the game. This guy has a lot of health, and he is essentially our nemesis from Shadow of Mordor. However, they turned off the servers, so we can't bring our nemesis across anymore. We used to be able to bring our nemesis into the game, so instead we're going to grab our Caragor, and we're going to start building up its might meter. So you see the orange bar just above my health, that's the might meter. We're going to build it up here. And instead of fighting this guy, we're going to perform the Caragor dog. And here it is here. Insta-kill on most captains. There are a few exceptions. It is a very good cat doggo. This is a half cat, half doggo. I think they're actually closer to cats than doggos in the game, but it is a very good cat doggo. And the Caragor is our most powerful weapon because of that glitch. And I will explain it right now. So, essentially, we believe the game really suffers with different ultimate levels. So if you're standing on a staircase, for example, the game has a bunch of glitchy properties. And what happens is when you knock down the captain, this is my working theory on it anyway, when you knock down the captain on a Caragor, for a few moments they drop to the ground level, and the game treats them as a regular orc instead of a captain. So if you use the execute ability of a Caragor while they're in that state, the game will treat them as a regular orc and just instantly kill them. There are orcs that are immune to it, naturally, as well as Ologs, which obviously can't be knocked down by the Caragor. Oops, that was the wrong button. Input. So, again, RNG, depending on how many immune captains we get and how many captains are Ologs. Now, this is one of my favourite missions of the game. This is the epitome of stealth is optional in a video game. This is meant to be a stealth mission to rescue Idril's father. But as you can see here, we're just going to blast our way in with these campfire teleports. We're going to shoot this guy up here. Free these guards.
We don't know what we'll find, Idril.
And continue going from here. We're going to run this corner. We're actually going to stealth kill one guy in here, and that's normally this guy. We're then going to use our command follower button to tell Idril to kill that guy. We're then going to blow up this crate to try to bring some orcs over here to investigate what that explosion was. Unfortunately, the one downside of playing on easy is sometimes they don't want to investigate. So we didn't get any orcs today, but that's okay. We can stealth kill this guy. Up we come here. And stealth kill this guy. Now, the reason why I'm killing all the orcs, even though we're only meant to rescue the captains here, is simply because as soon as we're done here, the mission will be clear the camp. So we're just going to pre-clear the camp as we're moving through. Again, there's a great example of easy. That orc was looking directly at us, yet did not see us for the stealth attack. Okay, and Idril's off doing something. I have no idea where she is today. Hopefully she's killing orcs, but she is also RNG depending on where she goes. Sometimes she helps you free these guards, sometimes not. They're going to summon our own Caragor now. My chat very nicely calls this Carabrimgor.
We need to clear the camp before we go to Castamere.
Oh, one thing I didn't tell you, is the main character. So, the main character is actually two individual characters. One is called Talion. He's a human ranger who is dead, who died in the very first prologue of the first game. And the other one is Carabrimbor, who is the original, who helped Sauron forge the original Ring of Power. He's the ghost that possesses our body and keeps us from passing into the other life. Alright, here we're going to teleport to these fires, because thankfully the escort mission finishes with, hey, would you defeat these guys on the bridge? And we just go ahead and do that. Pan the camera to make sure that last guy gets hit, and then we can just run to the end, and the mission will complete itself. Okay, we're going to have a really good spot for donations in about a minute or so, so I'm just going to get myself geared up here to do this mission, but it is a really good spot, so if you've got donations, guys, get them in now, because we're going to have a good minute of me trying to fill in time otherwise. Alright, so we have a few objectives to do in this 2-minute time frame. Very first thing we need to do is build up our Elven Rage. So get that bar to full, because we're going to need it for an upcoming Nazgul fight. So let's focus on doing that first. I'm not using my execute ability here because when you use a special move, it actually freezes the timer up above. So it takes even longer. So all I'm doing here is just cleaving. There is, however, an exception there. Come on, that should be very close. Okay, cool. The second thing we need to do is we need to make sure that we see this Drake that's flying around here. Where are you? There it is. We need to get the dragon encounter window, this one here, and that's just to save us set up for later. The third thing is, hopefully if this dragon decides to, yes, there we go, it's going to fall to the ground. I'm actually going to execute it despite the fact that it does stop the timer, because dragons will drop a tier 2 gem. So, most of the time. Sometimes they drop money if we're unlucky. It dropped actually the one gem we can't use. That's okay. No issue at all. Worth the time lost to try to go for that, because if it drops a red gem, it's great. Third thing we need to do is build up our might for our Caragor for an upcoming captain fight. And now we have a minute of doing nothing. So if you've got donations, please get them in. Otherwise, we can stare at the Caragor feet.
I do like looking at feet, but unfortunately we do not have any donations at the moment. So go to donate.ozspeedruns.com and please give us some donations for Beyond Blue, a charity that supports mental health awareness and support. I do have here a Barrow White poem entitled Cold Be Hand and Heart and Bone. Cold be hand and heart and bone, and cold be sleep under stone. Never more to wake on stony bed, never till the sun fails and the moon is dead. In the black wind the stars shall die, and still on gold here let them lie, till the Dark Lord lifts up his hand over dead sea and withered land.
I like that. So essentially,
This is from the book The Fellowship of the Ring by J.R.R. Tolkien. Check it out.
it's a decent book. So essentially, we hang
That's
back
right.
here because on easy, when orcs go to parry, there's actually a slowdown to give you more time. So the whole reason we hang back there is just to avoid getting in the foot, just to avoid that slowdown. So we shoot the guy in the foot to stop him from giving us his opening lines, and then use a Karagor dunk to kill him. Now I have a one shot at a glitch here that I'm probably not going to get. This is called the high ground glitch, and it is extremely finicky on Nazgul, and we need to use these stairs. Oh, nearly got it. No. Oh, it nearly worked. Unfortunately, we need Elven Rage for it. The version of the high ground that works on captains does not require Elven Rage, but the version that works on Nazgul does require. It is an insta-kill for Nazgul. But that's okay. It's not expected to get it. It is an extremely precise trick. It requires both Nazgul positioning, which I can't control, and my positioning. But this is our first fight versus some Nazgul. These are all just base level Nazgul. They have really no special abilities. And we're just going to beat them into the ground. So, thankfully, they are quite easy to fight. You literally just hit them 4 times and they do a special ability. And then occasionally they'll start doing this attack chain where they attack you mercilessly. But now would be a great time if chat has any questions about what's been going on in the run. Now would also be a great time for that. Because we are just fighting Nazgul. Okay, so here I'm not actually going to execute the Nazgul that's low. I'm going to focus on a different Nazgul, because once they're in broken state, we can get them down there very, very nice and easy, and then we can instantly just get rid of them. So instead, we're going to use the execute on the high health Nazgul to get them down quicker. So this Nazgul will get broken any second. There he is there. And then we can get rid of him as well. 2 more Nazgul, and then we're out of this section. Okay. The game decided not to log onto that Nazgul, instead to go for this one, but that's okay. The targeting is a little wonky in this game. Unfortunately, it was a console game that was ported to PC, and that will be more evident in the next section. But occasionally the targeting just goes a little bit wonky because the game just does not interpret what you really want to do. One more Nazgul to go. So, probably a good time right now to talk about the different insta-kill glitches we have. I did quickly show you the Karagor donk already. That is the main glitch we're going to be using. We also have 2 more insta-kill glitches. We have the High Ground, which has a variant on Nazgul and a variant on Orcs. We probably won't end up seeing that in the run today, unless I get lucky with the Nazgul ones, because using it on Orcs, while it is an insta-kill, requires a bit of setup that we won't normally have in a run. And the other insta-kill we have is the Angry Toddler Strike, which we probably will end up seeing. It is a very weird glitch. Please get out of my way, Atariel. It is a very weird glitch, and it is named so because of the method you use to actually trigger it, but hopefully I can show that off a little later in the run. But they are our main insta-kill glitches. So right now we are running to help Shelob. She's getting attacked by Nazgul. She has control of our new ring that we ended up forging, which is a counter to the One Ring. And we are running to her so that the Nazgul don't get a hold of it.
I shall be the one to wield it.
Okay, and if you've ever wondered, hey, I want to pick up speedrunning of this game, but 3 hours seems a bit long, what I did right now, up until this point, we call that the Palantir percent or the ring percent run. And essentially it's a much shorter category, so it's about 45-50 minutes. I'm not sure where I am on the timer, but usually it's about there. So if you ever wanted to get into this run, that's a nice easy one to do. The RNG isn't so bad yet. But now we head into the worst stealth mission in the game. Now, this stealth mission here actually says do not get detected. And that means not seen at all by any of these people. We are now converting these orcs to our side, that we have the ring back, so once we've converted them, they no longer count as enemies. But this is where the game showing as a console port really shows through. I cannot unbind the button between jump off the ledge in front of these orcs and brand them. So if I go too fast and the game doesn't recognise I want to brand them, aka bring them to my side, I will go flying off in front of the orcs and they will instantly see me and I will fail the mission. So if you see me going slow through here, that's why. I'm just making sure that the game is actually knowing what I want to do with my inputs. Okay. A few more archers to dominate and then we can move on to the fun part of the game. And believe it or not, everyone, we're still in the tutorial. I will actually let you know when we're out of the tutorial, but we're essentially still in the tutorial at this point in the game. The game will not let us out of a tutorial for a very, very long time. So one more guy to go.
Final Fantasy 13's tutorial was about 20 hours from memory, so
That's
got an improvement on that.
Yeah, this is definitely an improvement on that at least. So here we're going to activate our orcs to attack everyone. And we're going to assume they're going to do their job. Most of the time they do, and we're going to head to the next mission. It looks like they might have missed a orc, but that's okay. One's not too bad. We can swipe out this guy. Come on guys, 2 more orcs to kill. Come on. 1 more orc to kill. You've got this. There we go. Brilliant. Normally that's a bit quicker, but sometimes they do that.
More warriors, stronger warriors.
Okay. So, we unlock the rare gear. That's fine. New bow. Brilliant. No, new cloak. Don't care about that. We're going to go into our... not inventory. We just were in inventory. We're going to go into our character and we're going to unlock a few more abilities. So, we're going to unlock Dagger Throw, we're going to unlock Elven Light, and we're going to grab Upgrade Cleansing Fire, and then we're also going to grab Ice Storm here.
We will also require...
Okay, so now we're going to get our first captain on our side, so we're actually going to dominate a captain. Again, this is the game's example of breaking its own rules. We actually are required to bring a captain down to our level, or have them lower than us, to actually bring them on our side. Bruce here, he's level 19. We're only level 11 at this point in the game, but the game will still let us dominate him for story reasons.
I'm exactly the same way.
Okay. So we're going to start this fight off by blowing up some barrels. Again, that's for Elven Rage for the next fight. We're then going to jump down. Bruce, again, is one of the few orcs we know all these stats about, so there's no point going for a stealth attack as he is immune to stealth. Now, Ologs themselves, it is really hard to avoid their lines like this. If you stay within a certain radius of them, you can, but it's since we don't have a guaranteed stun on Ologs, we can't guarantee keep their lines away. Also, shout out to the voice actor for Bruce because it sounds like the fish from the shark from Finding Nemo, and I can't get that out of my head ever. But essentially here we just need to lower Bruce's health down to 1/4 of his health and then we can dominate him. Get that archer out of the way. Okay, we're going to get rid of these guys. We're actually going to... oh no, it should be fine. There should be no one left to stop us from taking Bruce here. And now we essentially have Bruce on our side. Okay, more tutorial time. The game is going to teach us about taking over forts, which are the big areas of this game that we control. we're just going to power all through it. I'm just going to guess and hope that I know enough about this game to know what to do with the fort. But for now, we're going to head to one of our first of our side story missions. So the way this game works is we need to get the world into a certain state to get to the very last mission of the game. And that includes doing a bunch of side missions. In this case, we're doing a mission for Kanan. We also need to do missions for the human, mission for Bruce, and mission for Atariel, who was the elf we saw just a little bit before that I completely ignored and ran past. But once we do a certain number of those missions and get the world into a special state, I'll explain what that state is afterwards. We can then go to the end game. So that's really what we're aiming for here. And it just so happens that this mission is right here.
And she will protect it with the full power of nature.
Now I used to have comments on my stream as well that a lot of people used to get lost in this mission. It is very easy to get lost because even though the orcs spawn in the same location, they're kind of really hard to see. So one trick you can do is if you go on your Elven site, you can easily see where the objectives are. They're highlighted in yellow. And now we're going to go to Kanan. This used to be one of the worst missions in the game. So what used to happen here is we used to take about 5.5 minutes to fight these beasts. Beasts are not easy to fight when you're low level and don't have a lot of abilities. But thankfully it was rerouted by the old world record holder Gannis Altena, who doesn't run the game anymore but is still really awesome. And we essentially save our Elven Rage for this component. So this Karagor fight has always been the same, but now we're going to fight the Grog. This Grog used to be a 2.5 minute slog, and I mean actual slog. It was really difficult. And I want you guys in chat to count how long it takes me to kill this Grog. So ready, and go. And it's dead. Another side effect of this is that the next animal cannot spawn until we're out of Elven Rage, and we cannot cancel Elven Rage, so it gives us perfect time to move over here for setup for the final fight. So the way drakes work is the only time you can shoot them out of the sky is when they have their mouth open. This drake, does a nice breathe of poison gas, and if we donkey shot it, right as we gain control, we'll immediately fall down and we execute it, and that is the entirety of the Kanan's Bane run. This used to be a nightmare, but thankfully is now nice and simple. And this is where we pray. This is where we pray, chat. This is where we hope that everything goes right, because this is where runs go to die. This split right here. Okay. So let me level up and all that, and then I'll explain exactly what's going on here. That is consume. Oh,
It seems this
one thing.
has woken.
Consume allows us to use our might meter to take an orc, and we're actually going to deactivate domination. That doesn't deactivate domination for captains, that only deactivates domination for regular orcs. And that will actually assist us with the glitch. Now, what I said with RNG, and this is where runs go to die, if you notice in the bottom left, we are level 12. This is the recruitment split where we need to find 3 orc captains to bring to our side. That doesn't include Bruce. Captains in this zone have a spawn rate from level 10 to level 35. So we're very unlikely to find a good 3 set of captains. So we kind of just have to pray. That is Karagor warp. That is so incredibly unlikely, and oh my golly gosh, it warped me so far. That we can't get those to happen when we want them, but when we don't want them, they happen. So essentially, Tallinn got stuck between the Karagor and the pillar that I was going to, and the game didn't know what to do, so it just sat me in a random location. But that's okay. If we could ever work out how to do those consistently, this game would look a lot different. Alright, so we grab this fast travel point, and then we go into our army menu, and we pray we pick the right war chief. So I mentioned before we're going to fight war chiefs with their bodyguards. We're actually going to look at both these war chiefs. This one has 3, you can see the 3 lines, so we're going to fight him. So that essentially gives us 4 chances, or 4 rolls, to get some captains that are good. If they're over our level, we have to fight them, and then we have an ability called Shame, where we can basically shame them, and most of the time we can get them down to our level, there is a chance for them to actually level up and go into legendary status while shamed, which actually makes them higher level than us again. But again, that's RNG. So this is our big RNG section. So we're going to start this mission and start hunting this war chief. Okay, good. This mission is also RNG. RNG on top of RNG, but this one's a nice quick one. So not too bad there with the mission RNG. So essentially, we just need to blow up a bunch of grog barrels. And before I de-equipped the Dominate rune, and that's actually going to hopefully allow us to do a glitch on this captain if they decide to spawn without a shield and then not an O-log. So one of these captains or even the war chief. There is a weird glitch that if we try to fight a captain or war chief that doesn't know where we are, and we land on their back with a stealth drain while we don't have the Dominate rune equipped, they will run away in terror.
Defiance!
Don't know why it works, but it works. So this guy has no idea yet where we are. I know that because he doesn't have an arrow on his little indicator, so we have a chance to do it here. So we're going to let him. He's unfortunately in the building below us. We're going to try to lure him out if we can. Come on. See that explosion? Go run towards it. No. Okay, he's going to refuse to come out, so instead we're going to try to do it to one of his followers. I think that's your back. Okay, I think I got it. Yep, so he's instantly terrified, and then we can instantly shame him away. I wanted to do that to the war chief because his followers will actually flee if you defeat him. We need to make sure this guy doesn't go legendary. He didn't, so that's going to be one of our targets. And he's enraged by cowards, so that's RNG again. But it's all RNG. So his name is a one word, that's his trait, so he's going to give us one word.
Insignificant. Time to crush your skull and rip out your
Okay, level 12, that's actually really good. So we have 2 possible captains we can now take when we go see them. And there are also stairs here, which we might be able to perform the high ground on, which is a very obscure glitch. The high ground version for captains doesn't require open rage, but I need to get this guy down to the bottom of the stairs before I perform it. But we might be able to instead, nope, insta-brand him, but instead the game decided to target the grunt in front of him. Hopefully we're not interrupted here. Good. So again, we watch his status, make sure he doesn't go to legendary when we shame him. He's okay, he didn't go to legendary, so that's great. So that's now 2 possibilities we have, and we can now see his followers running in fear. At least one of his followers. So we'll shame this guy as well, just in case we lose one of the other guys. We have nice backups everywhere. Now I believe the level 12 is still behind me. He went to legendary, so we're not going to go for him. But I believe the level 12 is still here. He is. So we're going to fight him and hopefully take him as our first orc. So we'll freeze him up with our new ability. Now when we punch, we freeze orcs. So we're just going to vault over him, punch him, freeze him, and go for the combo again. Pop the execute, that should break him. Great. That's 1 down. We need 2 more orcs at least. Before we can move on to the next mission. It's triggered by owning 3 orcs. So we're going to go into our army menu and we're going to look around for where these guys are. This guy is right down the bottom. This guy is the unashamed guy. Oh, that was the wrong button. Sorry about that. And this guy's right down. So we're actually going to go ahead and fast travel to the bottom of the zone. Should have picked one of those guys to hunt. That would have made it easier. I want to hunt. I actually want to hunt the one that's not in a mission, because he should be nice and easy to find. So, overall, this recruitment split hasn't actually been bad. We got one orc so far that's been our level. And this is actually what we need. We need to talk to Bruce 3 times. Every time we take one of these followers, he will randomly show up. He can actually show up at the worst time while you're in the middle of a fight. And you actually gain the invulnerability status while he's talking to you, which will trigger any captain you're fighting to flee and leave the battle zone. So, oh, excuse me, sorry about that. So he can a lot of the time come and it's really bad. Thankfully today he was nice to us and came while we were running to the next orc. So, but we've got to see him 2 more times before this this section of the game is done, so he may not be nice to us the next time round. Alright, so I'm using my sight here just as I'm getting close. I know this guy looks like a world spawn. He is a world spawn, so we're just trying to figure out exactly where he is in the world. Where are you? There he is. Okay, cool. Is he near that building close enough? Go up, Talion. Up, please. Did he see me? He did not. That's really good. But he's a little too far away. Can I jump up here instead? No, he saw me. That's unfortunate. Okay. All good. I was trying to do the glitch on him again, but that's okay.
You won't use your filthy elf magic on me again? I'll cut your tongue off before you speak your foul words.
We have a $50 donation from John. Thank you, John. We have a $10 donation from Anonymous. This one goes places. Have you ever played Dark Souls? You look like the character Patches. Good luck on the run. What's your relationship to, like, pits and kicking people if they're near pits?
My relationship is I love to kick people into pits, and we might actually see that in this run, but I have not actually played any Dark Souls myself. It was on my list to play, but I've been very focused on this game for a while, so... yeah, unfortunately no Dark Souls, but I know enough about the game to understand what's going on. Cool, so we're going to go to this guy. He's actually locked in a mission. Some of the orcs are world spawns like that orc, and some of the orcs are unfortunately locked behind missions. If there's any more donations, you can feel free to read them right now, because I'm just doing the same thing over and over while we're waiting for the recruitment split.
Well, as always, you can go to donate.ozspeedruns.com to provide some donations. Coming up next is going to be another end of an incentive. So we are having a bid war to determine what is the name for Byleth in Fire Emblem Three Houses. Currently, Allison is winning at $25, and Sothis is second place at $10. If you've got a good joke or a good idea or something, you know, like name them Lynn, so we can talk about best Fire Emblem character, then go ahead and do those things.
Okay, so here it's again a random mission that he's going to give us. In this case, we just have to kill 10 of these spear type enemies. And the game is deciding to randomly climb things, which is always annoying, but again, we have no control. Sometimes we don't have any control over that. Talion is a very sticky person, and he just likes to stick to most substances, kind of like Spider-Man. So if you even look at the wall the wrong way, he will end up doing it. And here's an example of Bruce coming during the middle of a mission to have a chat with me. But he also spawned strangely because he spawned on a box and then fell down, so which is why he's not looking at me correctly.
And that'll free you up to gut somebody else at the same time. And remember to keep the target's weaknesses in mind. If he's terrified of fire, there's nothing funnier than sending someone to clobber him with a fire weapon. Oh, that's proper music, that is.
Yep, he's just randomly looking off to the side now. Can you give me back control of the game, please, Bruce? Bruce? Nope, you're going to stand there with your mouth open. I love the glitches in this game. They are so strange. We're going to grab this guy. And hey, go kill this guy. We're never going to complete that mission. We just have to have the follower to unlock to send them on a mission to kill that guy.
Bruce is just really happy to be here.
He is. He's just really excited and wants to just stare at me with his mouth open like he always does. Thankfully, Bruce is a very lovely guy, and he's never going to do anything bad against us.
Oh no.
Thank you. How many more have I got to kill? One more and then the guy will finally spawn. Okay, he's out. There we go. So this was the War Chief. We now shamed him out of that role, and now his job is to control this section of the map. So we're going to even add more insult to injury and then take him for our army here. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to get this glitch here. Again, he's probably too far away. Yep, he was too far away. That's unfortunate. Might be close enough to this building. It is still faster going for this than fighting him. But I need to land on his back here for this to actually work. That looks good. Yes, got it. Excellent. Okay, that's number 3. That was relatively smooth for recruiting. So, we still have to get Bruce's final word. So, we still have to get Bruce to tell us one more time what we can do with our followers. But we're going to fast travel here. Actually, we're stuck in combat. So what we're going to do is we're going to perform a glitch. So we're going to go into our inventory. We're going to change over our skin. We're now going to look like Atariel. That will actually fast travel us, regardless of the fact that we're in combat. Where it takes us, I don't know. This time it took us to the world's edge. But we can now then fast travel to where we actually need to go. We'll be using that a few more times in the run to get to locations fast. And now finally, while riding a Caragor is faster for this to get to this end part, Bruce refuses to talk to us on Caragors, so we're just going to run there and hopefully trigger his voice lines before we get to the last mission, which is here.
That bloke you recruited is a sneaky bastard. He'd make a top backstabber. What you want to do is to make him bodyguard to a war chief, so you can, well, stab him in the back. Of course, no war chief's going to take on a bodyguard unless he's proved himself. And the place to do that is in the fight pits. How does surviving a few rounds make you trustworthy? No idea, but it's a bloody good laugh. And you'd be a drongo to trust an orc anyway, so it all works out. Go on, have a go.
Okay, so there was a time in the speedrun when we actually did do this mission. However, it turns out to be a lot slower now that we have more insta-kills. So we're just going to tell that follower to go do that, and now we have the first fortress siege unlocked. So this is essentially what I call moving from the start of the game to the mid-game. The mid-game we're going to be doing a lot more kind of missions. The game's going to flow much quicker now. But first we need to take this fortress. So we're going to assign this guy into fight. And then we're going to go siege our first fortress. We unfortunately have to sit through a couple of minute cutscene again. This one is unskippable. And we don't have much to do here. So, chat, now is a good time to get questions in. If I haven't answered anything, or if you're interested in something, please let me know. Now's a good time. Obviously, I can't see chat, but our lovely host will more than happily read out any questions you've got to me.
And if worse comes to worse, I do have more Elvish poetry here.
Love it. There might actually be a point where I need you to do that, because there is technically a glitch where Talion will stop talking for 45 seconds during a cutscene. So you need to have that prepared just in case that happens.
They can't just turn this into some sort of Drongo story by Bruce. Yeah, mate, I had an onion on my belt, was the style at the time.
Which is a pain in the ass, but to hazard a guess,
3 Bs to get the road to Shelbyville. They didn't call it Shelbyville, then we called it like Isengard.
My kind of black.
I will handle the Overlord.
Okay.
You focus on the defenders.
You can see in the background that very pixelated tree again. That's just because I've got the game on low. The game actually looks really great on high, but I run it on low, and the game looks absolutely terrifying when you do. Especially O-logs when they're in the distance. They lose all their features, and it's just terrifying. So, this is essentially King of the Hill. Now you'll notice on this first capture point that there is no one defending the point. That is actually because we went and killed the war chief beforehand. So all we're doing here is just holding this point. We're going to summon our bodyguard. For every orc captain we have on this zone, the capture speed increases, and for every orc captain and war chief they have, it goes down in time. The other condition is that all the war chiefs need to be dead before we can move into the overlord room, which is why we'll be killing all of the war chiefs during this process. But we'll take our first capture point here. There's one more to go. And Bruce magically teleports into the fortress there. I wasn't able to show it because he hadn't actually got into the fortress yet, but normally you can see him actually teleporting. And we're going to grab our Caragor, aptly named Carabrimgor, and we're going to start building our Elven Rage. It's not our Elven Rage, sorry, our Might, and that's again for another Caragor donk. Like I mentioned before, we have to take all the war chiefs out as well, which means we are going to have to kill this war chief. Thankfully, he's not the war chief. You can see on their icon, they'll actually have a crown above their head, above their level. But he's a Beastmaster, which means we need to actually avoid him, because Beastmasters are not only immune to the Caragor donk, but they will instead kill my Caragor when I actually perform it on them. So he's a very naughty man, and we do not want anything to do with him. But thankfully, we're able to donk the War Chief and continue going from here. He is not the Beastmaster, so we're actually going to shame him here if we're able to. And this is going to do one of two things. This guy is either going to show up now in a later fight later on with Bruce, or he'll actually show up right at the end of the entire game to take revenge on us for shaming him. Not sure which one it will be. It's RNG again, which one he actually decides to go for. But that's what's happening. And this guy taking my Elven Rage is really bad. Oh, that's actually really annoying that he took my Elven Rage then. So I got hit by a curse weapon, which removes all my Elven Rage. What can I do as backup? Backup. Okay, I've got an idea for backup. That's okay.
I'd like to throw my hat in that ring.
Alright, so a lot of this game comes down to thinking about backups. Cool. Gonna get rid of that guy. We're actually gonna kill that guy because he's a Beastmaster and we don't want him to come back at all. So let's just kill him. And we're gonna have to do a couple of grinds here just to get some more Elven Rage. But first, we're gonna walk into the Overlord's room. Normally this would trigger a final fight with the Overlord, but we're actually going to skip all the cutscenes involved. But essentially we know the orc that's in charge. It's Ratbag from the first game. He's hiding behind the Olog, or actually hiding on his shoulder. And so we let Ratbag live and we go to the end of the game. End of this mission. Now we can't actually skip this. Thankfully Talion and Atariel have decided to talk. Sometimes they don't talk here, which is really bad. But we can't actually skip this because the game doesn't consider this mission complete until we assign a new Overlord to the game, and that doesn't happen until after this speech. So you can crash the game here, but then you have to redo the whole siege. Okay. So that is the first fort captured. So, in my casual gameplay, I tried to give the fort to Bruce, but the game will not actually let you, for story reasons, give the fort to Bruce. So instead, we're going to give it to this random guy. It does not matter. And then we're going to jump off here and have to listen to Ratbag talk about a removed feature from the game. So there used to be an in-game cash shop. Ratbag is going to tell us all about it right now. Thankfully, the developers listened to the player feedback and removed the cash shop. So Ratbag's going to still tell us about it, but it doesn't exist anymore. I'm just going to have a quick drink while Ratbag prattles on about it for a few seconds.
You have scouts who can
Yes,
sniff
I
out
shall
enemy
quote the
orcs, so you can go
iconic
on the attack yourself.
Elvish poem.
You know what they say,
Galadriel,
the best
Galadriel,
offense
I
is a good
Lothlorien,
offense.
Lothlorien, 10 free
And
roll
don't
on the
worry
gotcha.
about running low on orcs. If you ever need new recruits, you go talk to a globe they call the Headhunter. He'll sort you out. Oh, Shrock! I forgot to fill Ranger's feeding bowl before I left. He's gonna be cranky.
Remember to hydrate, everybody. Very
I'm
good
coming,
to
Ranger!
keep your body healthy.
Okay, so now we're going to fast travel back to this, and we're going to start packing up orcs. And it's a really strange thing, but essentially we have a pocket, and we're going to throw these orcs in a pocket for later use. So it costs us 1,000 money. You can see my money in the top right. It costs us 1,000 money per orc that we do this, so we may not have enough money for all of these orcs, but that's okay. Hey, we got a pretender. That's actually a really rare orc. Anyway, we'll pack him up, put him in our pocket. We're going to move you here so that you don't glitch out when I pack you up. Cool. And we're going to leave us with one orc in this zone. And now this is really strange. We're going to apply a training order to him and give him a Caragor. Sounds strange, right? We're also going to go, hey, you're now my bodyguard. This started off as a joke in the community, and it turned out to actually save us a lot of time. Later on, we need a Caragor where we can't get a Caragor. So what we're actually going to do is this Caragor, don't worry, it's just going for a nap, nothing bad's happening to it. But where is, nope, game, I want to, okay, we're going to have to fight these guys first. Because I'm not able to do this until they're all dead, apparently. Okay, so now we're going to drain our enemy. Our ally. Sorry, our ally. And we're going to kick him from the army. We're going to shame him down and kick him from the army. Now that gives him a really good chance to come back later in a mission where we don't have access to Caragor normally. And then we can perform the Caragor dog. So that started off as a joke, but it turns out to actually save us a lot of time if it works. It doesn't always. I like to quote the old Anchorman quote, 60% of the time it works every time, but it's the best shot we have to get a Caragor in that room. And now we have a minute of hands off, and I cannot control the fight here. This is going to be a fight between my follower and one of the random orcs in this area. These are part of the online fights in the game, and we have no control. What we hope for is that it's a fast fight and that our orc wins. But all we can do is sit and watch. So, unfortunately their orc has a shield, which means he has more than average health, and our orc is also a spear orc who seems to be slower than their orc. So, it's still unknown which orc will win, but it looks like maybe our orc's going to lose, which can happen. It's very rare, but it can happen. But thankfully
So
there is a...
like,
Sorry?
is there like functionality with sportsbet.com to get the odds on this fight?
There should be. There really should be. Alright, thankfully my orc got the kill blow. That's great. It means we get another orc to pick up and put in our pocket for later on.
Wasn't that a good time?
And we can now finally celebrate. It should be like an hour, I don't know how long into the run so far. We are finally out of the tutorial. That is the last of the tutorials we need to go through. The game map is now open. We can go wherever we want. So these are all the regions popping up. Those ones we need to conquer. This one here is an actual DLC region that we don't need to conquer, but it's still there for optionals. We've got a few more menus to go through, and we've got a time loss because I own DLC. Those two extra pop-ups come up, but now we are free to roam. So we're immediately going to head to the last zone in the game. This is purely because we need to continue with Bruiser's storyline, but we need to go do a different mission in a different zone first. And this just happens to line up later so that we have a bunch of missions together. But this is essentially the final zone in the game. It is, as you can see, right next to the iconic. I'm gonna have.
Sportsbet.com is a real good comment in the chat.
That is a fantastic comment. I like that a lot. Unfortunately, what we're going to have to do here is we're going to have to grind a little bit of Elven Rage. You can see my Elven Rage is a lot lower than it should be. I actually got cursed which is a spell effect that can happen in this game. And Curse doesn't do much damage to us at all, but it does drain all our Elven Rage. And I need Elven Rage for a very cool glitch coming up. So, all we're going to do is kill a bunch of orcs. We're going to walk into this fortress here. Hopefully get one of them to trigger the alarm. And kill some orcs. So, excuse me one moment. Oh, I just had to cough there. I did not want chat to hear that because no one wants to hear me cough. And we can get going. We're going to let that guy trigger the alarm. Come into here. Oh, there is a bunch of orcs for some reason. That is great. As they all burn to death, our Elven Rage should be going up nice and quick. Almost there. What we need. A few more kills and we should be good to continue going. Now even though it seems like I'm losing a lot of time here, this is actually going to save us around 4 minutes if I perform this correctly. We're going to be fighting a Balrog very soon, and there is a way to skip entire sections of the fight with Elven Rage. Come on. A few more please. Don't want to fight Ologs. You guys are slow. Oh, there's a captain. We actually want to stay away from that captain if at all possible. He unfortunately gave us his opening line.
Of pain. So succulent, so delicious. I want more. I need more. Give me more pain. I must have it.
Oh, and he's one of the masochist orcs that likes pain. We're obviously not going to give him pain and instead try to avoid it, but ooh, there is an Olog here with a rare gem on him. So if he will let us, we will definitely kill him for it. Ah, he dropped money. Okay, we've got enough Elven Rage. Enough screwing around. Let's go. I was being a little safe for marathon purposes. But we've definitely got, well, we've got the full bar now, so we can head to the mission. Okay, come on. Unfortunately, I wasn't watching my focus bar, so we're actually going to have to go for these rocks to get to our location. Nope, I am stuck. There we go. Alright, so this mission is extremely dangerous. The orc captain that spawns here, we partially know his stats. So we don't know everything, but we always know that he's going to carry a curse weapon. And that is absolutely terrifying because, like I just mentioned before, if I get hit once by a curse weapon, I will lose all of my Elven Rage, which we just spent that full-time gathering. But if we don't get hit by a curse weapon, we get to do one of the coolest skips in the game found. First, we need to take out all of these orcs on these towers. Come on. Bad shooting so far, but these shots are not easy to perform at all. So this guy actually have to hit in the arm. Come on. There we go, he's down. Cool. Okay, he's down. Now, when I shoot this barrel here, yes, that is really good RNG. He got dazed by the fire. That is thankfully really good RNG because we should be able to down him before he's able to hit us once with his curse weapon. For everyone's reference, this is Goz. Don't ignore his name. His name is not Zog. His name is Goz. This is Goz. Oh, he's now free of his dazed effect. Thankfully, he ran into the fire again. And he shall now give us his closing line. And we're going to throw this guy off into the pit. Like I said, I like throwing people off into the pit. While we're waiting. Come on, Goz. Give us your line, Goz. There it is. Now, we can actually Karagor donk him and kill him instantly. However, if we cut him in half, which is one of the animations that can play during the Karagor donk, it will actually soft lock the game and we cannot proceed and have to quit out of this mission. So it's not worth the risk.
Oh yes, we'll meet again.
But now we get to see a really cool glitch. So we need to get rid of the rest of his followers. The easiest way is to, again, throw them off into the pit. Like I mentioned, I do like pit throwing. Whoop, that guy refused to go in the pit. There we go. And now we're going to go into the Balrog fight. Now keep in mind, we are not meant to be able to damage the Balrog during this phase at all. We are really here just to stop Kanan from getting beaten up by the Balrog by shooting into its back like that. However, if we time this really, really well, so he gets thrown, he stands back up, and we Elven Rage, you can see the Balrog's health is actually going down. And now what this does is this skips an entire 2 phases of this fight. Because the Balrog is meant to be not be damaged in this phase and instead be damaged in phase 2 or 3. Okay, so he's backslitting up so we can shoot it. We've got 2 more back shots before we can move on to the next phase. And while I remember, I'm going to go into my character screen and I'm going to assign Fatal Might and Bird of Prey, which I actually need for this mission. I need Bird of Prey for this mission, so we'll grab that. I'll explain what that talent does when we get to it. But essentially, okay, I can explain it now while we're waiting. It essentially allows us to do the slow down time thing while in the air with our bow out. So it allows us to fly through the air with slow down time. The other talent that we picked up, Fatal Might, that lets us double the amount of light we generate per strike, but if we get out of combat or are struck once, we lose all of our light now as payoff. So a really good high risk, high reward talent. Okay, so that's phase 1. So we're now going to chase the Balrog up this ledge, and we're meant to do a massive fight scene with us riding on this, on Kanan's Balrog. And we're meant to do this massive, long 4-minute fight sequence. Beating up the Balrog, going blow for blow, dodging its attacks, dodging its whips, dodging everything that it throws at us. It's really quite an epic thing. But unfortunately, the Balrog has already run out of HP. So, it's going to charge us. We're going to parry it once. The Balrog's going to get up and go, oh, I'm out of HP. I need to trigger phase 3. Balrog? Hello? You're meant to go into phase 3, please. What's going on here, Balrog? There it is. There's phase 3. Phase 3 is meant to be multiple shots to its heart as well, but again, it has no HP. It's completely lost way more HP than it should have, so we can just pull out our bow and donkey shot it in the heart and it's over. That's the entire Balrog fight. So that glitch saves us around 4.5 minutes, and it is beautiful. We're now going to chase the Balrog, and it's going to get away. And that's the end of Kanan's Bane. Cool. We are now level 15. We can unlock one of the best talents in the game, Talon Strike, and I will show that off immediately when we fast travel to the next area and explain what that does. Where are you? There it is. Map. And we want to fast travel to this location up here. Okay, so Talon Strike essentially allows us, while we're in the air, to take out our bow, target a section of the ground, and we can teleport directly to us. So that's another movement option that we get. We cannot unlock it till level 15, but now we're going to start going even faster. And we can see it here. Pull out my bow and teleport down straight away. Now this mission used to be a pain. I've done something wrong here. I have done something wrong, but that's okay. No problems at all. We will just do it the old school way. I spent one of my talent points when I shouldn't have. Actually, no, I haven't. I should be level 16 right now, and I'm not. I'm level 15. That's okay. That's just an XP thing, unfortunately. We got buggered over by XP, and we cannot do the strategy. It wouldn't have worked by this orc anyway. But essentially, we should be level 16 here, but we've not encountered high enough level orcs, and instead we're stuck on level 15. Oh, good. That's why this game has lots of RNG. Even the leveling system is RNG. But we can end up fighting this guy to death. Hopefully he'll burn. Fighting this guy to death, that's a weird statement. He's down. And we're going to summon the next wave. So what's happening now in the story is we're essentially, our fort is coming under siege and we're defending it from a bunch of orcs. I need to run a bunch of guys over to get my might up on this Caragor. Okay, and we're just going to perform the Caragor donk here on this one. Alright, a few more of the same things again, so let's keep going. See if this guy is an O-log or if we got lucky. He is a normal orc. I can just tell by the outline. So again, hopefully we can Caragor donk him. Okay, unfortunately he's right near a wall, and Caragors are extremely sticky. Got him. That's okay, because if we start climbing the wall, we're unable to do the Caragor donk. Alright, one more wave of orcs to go, and then we can go. We are now level 16 though, I've just noticed that, so this is great. We can now unlock the most broken ability in the game. We no longer have to build might for our Caragor. We can now instead use part of its HP to perform execute attacks. So essentially, we can now perform the Caragor donk whenever we need to, without having to wait to build up our might. So things are going to go nice and fast here even now. Don't you start climbing that wall, please. You get picked up and he immediately gets donked. And as a fun side note, if we kill a captain with this, we won't actually lose HP while this is happening. So even though it says you use HP, the animation of the captain dying overwrites the animation of us losing HP. Did not want to donk that captain still, but that's okay. Ah, now we got his opening line.
To be scared of a pathetic beast? I think not.
Okay. One more to go. He is unfortunately an O-log, so we cannot donk him, so we have to fight him through the old methods. We're just going to keep setting him on fire here. I could execute him, however, that will most likely trigger his voice lines. While he's on fire, it may not, but it's depending on how the game feels like sometimes. Now, we don't want to shame him because we don't want to see this guy again. We do actually just want to straight up kill him. He's now dead, and we can run to the mission end. Okay. Unfortunately, our Caragor has also gone for a nap right now, so no fast Caragor for us, but that's okay. We can use Talon Strike a bunch to get to the end nice and quick. Okay. And as you can see, this is costing me a shot of my bow each time I do this, but it is insanely quick to use. It does have an upper range limit, so we can't just indefinitely fly across the map, but it is still incredibly quick. But now, spoiler alert, Bruce betrays us here. He stabs us and throws us off the building. We lose the fort, and he takes over. Complete and utter spoiler, we would have had no idea it was coming. But we now have to go deal with Bruce. So we have to get our fortress back, and since this mission is right here, we're going to go do that straight away. And you can hear Kerabrimor and Talion arguing right now about what to do. But we're essentially going to go get our fort back. Now, fun thing about this mission, the developer's sort of everything. I don't own any orcs in this region, so the game is actually going to give me a bunch of orc captains for free that are going to side with me. So you'll see some of these orc captains aren't actually on my side. They're donated by the red bar rather than the blue bar. But they're still going to... Oh my golly gosh, that is really bad archery by me. But they're going to come on out my side regardless because they've got a vendetta against Bruce. So, good job to the developers here for thinking of that. There's a captain here we have to fight, and by fight I mean immediately murder, without him even really getting a chance to fight back. And you can see this guy here, he's not on our side, but we're going to free him regardless, and the game's going to go, okay, well, he's free, he's now on our side. So now we just have to clean up a few archers, and we're good to go into Bruce's mission. So, this... Oh my golly gosh, my archery is not on point today. I do apologise about that. Is that all of them? That should be everyone. No. Okay. Most of the time this guy here doesn't count towards the kill count that you need, but occasionally he decides to count towards the kill count. He did that time. Alright, so this is where we shamed that bodyguard before. We are hoping he shows up here to take revenge on us with Bruise. I don't see a Caragor, but my draw distance is also really low. This would also be where the French version has the incredibly loud volume glitch. That horn in the background is definitely French. Don't know why. It's the same on Spanish too. Thankfully it's not
like that. It's like that Wii version of FIFA where it's got the vuvuzelas blaring constantly.
Yes, absolutely. It is utterly deafening. Thankfully it doesn't happen in English, so we're okay. There is a glitch we can perform here to break Bruise's AI completely. Oh look, our guy spawned, so that's great. We just need some arrows to get him off his mount. But he brought a Caragor in for us, so that's really, really good. There is a glitch we can perform to... And I immediately ran into a Beastmaster who kills my Caragor. Okay, RNG, give it an RNG, take it away. What I was saying is, there is a glitch here we can perform. We can actually perform the high ground here on Bruise, and it will completely kill him. You're not meant to be able to kill him here, he's meant to run away, and you're meant to fight him again later. But we can actually kill him. Unfortunately, it does take longer than just regularly fighting him, so I'm not going to do it here. But if we get a really good run time, we can always come back to this mission after the game, and I can show it off.
Right here, Lord. Shut up and have him.
Come on, guys. Enough talking. Someone's got a lovely curse weapon. That's what's showing up there in my icon on the left. What we can do here is we can start taking all these orcs that Bruise has brought against us, and we can start taking them for our side here. And we can just let them fight. And they're also going to be useful to pack up in our pocket later on.
Only if I can keep the guts. You'll see who the real master is.
Okay, so the goal of this mission is really just to kill all of the captains plus all of their little grunts here. I'm going to focus down this enraged guy. He's enraged by weakness. That's really annoying. Because I can't do much about that at the moment because my guy is down next to him, but to get him up I need to have some time, which the enraged by weakness won't let me have. Thankfully it randomly fell off, so that was good. Oh, there it is again. He's enraged again. And he's beating me down into a pulp. That's really embarrassing to get beaten down by level 8. But all good. We have a few more lives, thankfully. And you can see here, if we'd kept the Caragor, we would have been able to donk all these guys, prevented that guy from dying, and quickly killed all of these. But thankfully, the game is very merciful in the way it does RNG. When we get good RNG, we also get bad RNG. We're going to use that glaive here, and we're just going to cleave a bunch. In fact, I believe I have a talent point free at the moment. I do. We're going to grab the glaive upgrade because that's going to help us clear. So this is a example of how you don't want the fight to go, for example. There's another one of my guys unfortunately dead. Again, really annoying, but not much we can do about it. With the Mighty Glaive upgrade, thankfully, we can get our might up nice and quick here, and we can start doing AoE fire to everything. This enraged guy is going to be the death of me, though. He is actually to the point where I am going to try to focus him down, grab him quickly and bring him onto our side. Okay.
May need some assistance here.
glaive again. Burn this guy to a pulp, and then bring him to our side if we don't get interrupted. Cool. Another one to our side, that's really great. It may look like I'm wasting time by collecting all of these orcs rather than killing them, but they actually do serve a purpose right at the end of the game. So thankfully getting them in a way is good. Bruce hit 50% HP, so this is him running away. But yeah, if we have time, I'll come back and show you what happens when you kill Bruce instead, and it is really entertaining. It is one of the best glitches in this game. Alright, we've just got to finish off all of these enemies. This should not take long at all. Thankfully, the less enemies we have in this area, the quicker this goes. I did hit spacebar there, but the game did not recognise it, unfortunately, because I was locked in my combo. Don't want to bring up my dead guy, instead I want to grab this guy as well. Grab him as well. And one more captain to go, and then we're finally out of this big slog. Now ideally this would take half the time if we had our Caragor, but things went wrong. But it doesn't matter. Things go wrong all the time in this game. One of the best things you have to learn when speedrunning this game is how to adapt. And how to adapt to the situation that the game gives you, because nothing is ever going to go right. And if you have a perfect RNG run, if anyone ever submits that into the leaderboards, it's going to be less likely than Dreams Minecraft runs to be legitimate. So that's that. But this is my favourite speech in the game. Have you ever seen a 1,000-year-old elven wraith chuck a dummy spit? My toddler, when he gets angry, shakes his arms like this. Now I want you to watch his arm movement here.
My enemies will find no weakness, no mercy, only the unassailable strength of my army. That is exactly the same kind of reaction I get when my toddler doesn't get the right cut that he wants. So that is great. Alright, so we've officially taken the fort back from Bruce. We now own it. Bruce would said he'll see us later. That is not true at all. That is the last time we're going to see Bruce in this run. And we are done in the zone of Nern, thankfully. So that is one of the 4 zones completely done. We're going to go into our level up here. We're going to grab Perfect Counter, and we're going to grab Critical Strike here, both really useful just for standard melee combos. And we are going to pack up the remainder of our orcs in this zone. This guy's busy, so we're going to move him to that. And then we can move him. Take these guys, pack them up into our inventory again, and keep going. We've got quite a few orcs in our inventory now, so that's great. He's busy again. That's fine. Nope, you really don't want to move. So sometimes they glitch out and just don't allow us to take them. That's fine. We'll just leave a guy here. I wouldn't have had the money to take all of them anyway, so that's all good. And now we are going to head to Kirith. No, we've got to do Kirith. There we go. So, I actually understand. I want to be honest here. I made a mistake in this run. The reason why I was thinking I should be level 16 before in Best Defense is because recently we rerouted and we should have done this siege before Best Defense, but that's okay. This is just the old route that we used to do. It only saves us like maybe 30-40 seconds total, but just so you're aware, I should have gone to this place before going to Kirith. But that's okay. That's what happens when routing keeps changing. Okay, so now we're going to do a new little glitch called upwarping. Collision is only solid at long distances from one side, so we're able to take our bow out here, and please, nope, the game was not pleasant to us there. Normally we're able to take our bow out there, and just immediately teleport across the map. We're actually going to wait for my focus, because it will be faster than
running across there naturally. Okay, focus is back. Let's try this again. There we go. Okay, that was a little bit slow, but not too bad. And so that works because collision, even though we're teleporting up instead of down, collision is only solid from one side. Finally, what we're going to do here... Oh, this is a rare encounter.
The endless buzzing.
So, the assassin that we killed at the start of the game with the flies. This is him now. He has come back. This is part of the Nemesis system. This is actually annoying because we don't care about him at all. It's a time waster for us, but it's a really cool part of the Nemesis system. Unfortunately, we don't see a lot of this and we don't use it, and this just ends up wasting a bunch of our time. But he came back as a infested orc. But we're now going to go into that pocket that I've been talking about for a while. And we're going to actually unleash one of our orcs from that pocket. We're going to take him from our pocket and put him into this zone. We're then going to go to our army. And we're then going to say, hey, you're now my bodyguard. Cool, we've now got a bodyguard for this zone. So we're going to head to this encounter. We don't care about that guy at all. We're going to start the fortress. The game's like, are you really sure you want to go in there without any captains? And we're like, nah, sure, we've got this. All good. And we're going to start the siege. The reason why I put a captain into this zone and then assigned him to my bodyguard is the same reason before. Taking a fort is a capture the flag style, king of the fort, king of the hill style encounter, and having an extra captain there just speeds up the entire process by a lot.
So he takes over shark boars.
Okay, the reason I'm laughing is this is my most hated orc type in the game. He has one of the longest lines in the game when you get his opening line. I absolutely hate this orc. Thankfully he's the overlord, so he won't give us that line, but I still hate him just as much. It's nearly 30 seconds of sitting there waiting for him to talk. It's terrible. Alright. Time to start our first proper siege where we're actually going to get to fight the Overlord at the end of it. Now let's bring our follower in. Oh, it's our pretender follower. So, before when I talked about the Pretender being a really rare orc, you are actually not meant to be able to recruit this orc. He actually has a trait called Iron Will, which means that I cannot recruit him naturally. But he was given to me by the game by RNG, so that's why I have him. But normally you're not meant to be able to recruit him, so he's really rare, and pretty much the only way you get him is through this process. Or through cheat engines, or shaming him enough that he has a chance to lose the Iron Will ability. So I'm just AoEing here just to try to build up my Elven Rage, just for a backup in case the Overlord does not play nice. And, oh good. Alright, so we'll use our glaive, burn all these orcs to a cinder. So the glaive is super powerful, as you can see. When combined with the Mighty Swing upgrade, we can just basically instantly fill our might bar and then start burning all these orcs. Technically, while I'm in the middle of casting the fire animation, the capture window does not go around. So it is slightly slower to be using all these abilities. However, because I'm also trying to get some backups here, just in case things go wrong, it is faster because it'll give us more Elven Rage. Okay, next capture done. One more capture to go. Oh, I need to go back and grab myself a Caragor. Wrong way. I went the wrong way. Sorry about that. No, I did go the right way. I'm very, very silly. Grab myself a Caragor. Here they come. Certain baits up on the walls spawn certain enemies. In that case, that bait there would spawn a Caragor. grab myself a Caragor, and we're going to go ahead and kill these orcs up here. So there's the War Chief dead. That's the only one we have to kill. And I'm sure someone in chat is actually reminding me, despite the fact I put it in my donation incentive, I did not actually do the glitch that I was talking about for the to remove the War Chief basically from this location. As you can see, it only...
a chuckle about it.
That's good. Okay. He is the world record holder, by the way, in this category, so I'm glad he's in the chat, hopefully answering questions. But I always forget it, like I mentioned. It only saved us those few seconds we would have taken to kill those orcs there, but it would have saved us time regardless.
Oh, I will remind the chat that no donation is wasted. We are raising money for Beyond Blue, a charity which supports and raises awareness of mental health problems, particularly in Australia. So thank you very much for your donations, everybody.
Yes, huge thank you to everyone for that. Cannot say how much that means. To me personally, having a family that has been affected by mental health struggles and friends, amazing cause. Okay, so we didn't summon our Caragor. We grabbed a Caragor from the map here, just so we can summon our Caragor in this area. Thankfully, we get to dunk on a Blood Axe. That makes me feel really good as a person. I hate them so much. But thankfully also, because they're in the Overlord position, not a regular captain, they don't give us their 30-second speech about how much they love their axe and how good it is. But it is literally 30 seconds of them telling us how good their axe is. It is beyond atrocious to have to listen to. And all the build up to the Overlord fight, and that's the entire Overlord fight. And now it's time for one more speech before we continue on into the final zone of the game that we haven't seen yet, which will be Saragost. And we got the glitch, so feel free to read another Elven poem. This is a glitch where they're meant to be giving a speech, but for some reason, it just doesn't work sometimes.
Is this another tantrum about the sandwiches being squares, not triangles?
Pretty much, yeah.
We've actually got a couple of donations. We have $15 from Trip DM. Run's go. Oh, I guess this one's a tribute to our good friend Bruce. Run's going plenty bloody well, blood. Keep up the good work. We'll add to the banjo incentive, I reckon. I feel like my Australian accent gets more fake the more I do it.
Yeah.
$15 from Alleycat. Loving this run and the community, the commentary is top notch. ASM is already destroying my sleep schedule, but I'm glad to be along for the ride. Fire Emblem Three Houses protagonist name of Bayleaf. Right, we have a third entry in the Byleth name incentive, so that's 15 for Bayleaf, 10 for Sothis, and 25 for Allison.
And thank you especially to Trip DM, because he is one of regulars in my chat, so very lovely to see you here. Alright, we're going to do a gear check because I have not done a gear check in a while, and as you can see we have a bunch of high level gear now that we can equip, which is great. We're also going to level up our character. We hit level 20, so we're going to get an upgraded Caragor. We're going to say goodbye to Cara Broomgore, and we're instead going to say hello to Steve. Steve is the name that my chat gave the Caragor, and it's just stuck. So we'll be saying hello to Steve in a moment, who is a very different looking Caragor. But now we're moving into Saragost. This is the snow level. Really, really cool bunch of tech here. A really cool bunch of levels. I actually really like this one as well. We're also going to see the re-emergence of the skin glitch. So we're going to jump to this building. Go over here, up walk to this platform if the game is going to be nice, thank you. And we're going to switch skins again here. So we're going to go into our skin, and now we're close enough to a Hadia here that it's going to trigger a warp to that Hadia, even though we don't own it, and then we can just unlock it from here. Really useful because we really need this, and that saves about a 2-minute climb. That was found by Kaiser pretty recently actually. So, nice little time save we have there. And now we are going to move on to the final Kanan mission, and it's a good time to talk about the world state. I did mention it before, but essentially we need to defeat the Balrog, and that finishes Kanan's line. We've already got Bruce to the point where he's betrayed us and fled, so that finishes the Bruce line. We've got to fight a bunch of Nazgul to finish Atariel's line, which we haven't actually done yet, and then finally we've also got to reunite the humans, which we haven't done yet. So once all 4 of those world states are essentially the way they should be for the end game, we can move on to the last mission and go ahead and fight Sauron. But until then, we've just got to work on getting the world state to that. Oh, and we also have to own all of the forts in the land. We already own 2 of them, we've got 2 more to go. But this is a nice little chase sequence here. When I first did this casually, this felt really intense because the Balrog is literally chasing you down and you're running on a Caragor. But speedrunning this, it's actually really funny how bad the Balrog is at catching us. So we're going to shoot these ice down, rain it on him, and we're just going to keep him at an absolute distance. He's not even going to get close to us here. And he's even going to cheat. So right here, when we get through this section, he's going to go to the left of this tower and cheat. He's not going to run over those icicles because he's so far away that the game is worried about despawning him. But we have now kept the Caragor at, sorry, not the Caragor, Balrog at bay, and we're now going to run into this thing. You're meant to fight the Balrog on foot. It's absolutely useless and you cannot do it. But thankfully, if you just run over here, you trigger the 3rd phase of the game, where you get a dragon. And now this is the one time I'm going to switch to a controller. This doesn't save us any time, and I'm in fact the only runner who does this, but it's a guaranteed way to not lose time, because I can gain control during the cutscene by using a controller. It's a little bit weird, but essentially the game has real trouble switching between keyboard and mouse and controller. So essentially I can still gain control during these cutscenes and get into positions and get ready to dunk on the Balrog. Essentially the Balrog has a set fixed HP pool, and it's essentially we've got to dunk on him 4 times. We have to wait for this spin animation to happen, and then we can get to dunking on him. But as you can see, even though I'm hitting him right now, his HP isn't moving. That's because he's ready to be dunked on again. So I'm going to switch to keyboard control here again, just to get rid of this. And then you can see here I'm actually breathing on the Balrog. I shouldn't have control during this cutscene, but I do, and so I can officially breathe onto him. Officially. It's a weird statement to say. I can just start breathing onto him straight away, which makes sure that he goes straight into his spin animation again, and we're able to dunk on him once more. So just waiting here. Again, a really cool fight, but for speed running, we're just essentially we just spend a bunch of time waiting. I'm going to use my mouse to skip past and get control of the cutscene again, and make sure we're pelting the device straight away. One more cycle to go. Here he's actually going to be a bit annoying. We want him to shake straight away. Hopefully he's going to shake. There he is. And then he's going to start up his spin with animation. This time he's going to shoot 3 lots of fireballs at me. Again, I'm just taking the shot. This is easy. I have no chance of dying here at all. And we finish the fight with the Balrog. And the Balrog is now officially dead and buried under the ice, which completes the Kanan section of the world events to get her to the point. There's still more quests to do for Kanan, but that's essentially where she needs to be to get to the end game. So that's the last mission we're going to do for Kanan. Now, while we're in Saragoth, we're going to move on to the human chain storyline, and we're actually going to finish it up while we're here. And we need to reunite the humans all together. So they all scattered after the fall of Minas Ithil.
Some of our soldiers were sighted.
And we're going to head to try to get them back all together as a group. We're bringing the band back together for one last fight, essentially. Here's another Free to Humans mission. Rude of that guy to interrupt me, but that's okay. And then we're going to come down here, strike down here. That should stun all the guys here long enough for me to free this human, hopefully. Yep, he's free. Jump up here, dash over here, and free this human too. Then we need to head to a cave over here.
My family thanks you.
Come on, let's go. Oh, that was a little bit of a glitch there. We kind of got stuck in terrain there for a moment.
The Uruks use our soldiers
And
as bait.
now we have to free some more humans. Nice and easy again. Not much else to say here, except for I'm going to try to use the soldiers here to tank any axes that they may throw at me. So while I'm in the freeing animation, these orcs will default to a throwing animation, and there you can see there, the guy tied to the post actually tanked an axe for me, so I wouldn't take it. We're then going to bring out our bow, dash across to this fireplace, and go from there. Hopefully this guy here again will tank the axe for me. He did. And now we're going to grab out Steve. You can see Steve is a nice white Caragor. That just means he has increased health and increased damage. Look, this guy's on a Caragor. That is really annoying. In fact, that is really annoying because we're going to encounter his opening lines. Normally we dunk on this guy, but he is unfortunately running Caragor, so we can't dunk on him yet.
Only to die at my hand. Hardly seems worth the trouble.
Grab these arrows, get him off his Caragor, put that Caragor down for a nap. Caragors do not die in this game, they only go for naps, and if anyone tells you anything differently, they are completely wrong. Oh, failed the Caragor donk there, but that's okay. And there's the Caragor donk here. So we had to kill that commander as part of this mission. Ooh, a legendary sword. That is really good. That is really, really good to get that drop. And actually really, and I can't get off this Caragor for some reason. The game is just deciding that was not a good spot. And I'm stuck in the terrain again. There we go. So this game is pretty, like, there's no major big skip glitches, but there's a lot of weird little glitches. And I got the swag jump, which saves about half a second and looks really cool. It's called the swag jump because people in this game for some reason let me name a lot of the glitches and it's really bad. I'm an old boomer, so I come up with stupid names. Alright, moving into Bloodsport. The game is actually going to give me a weird menu pop up here saying, hey look, you've never seen a Dire Caragor before. Here's a Dire Caragor, despite the fact we have one unlocked. We're also going to take this Dire Caragor, which the game does not expect, as you can tell by this line here.
You killed my beastie.
I definitely did not kill your beastie, but he thinks we did because we took possession of his Caragor. And here, what we're doing essentially is, we're meant to kill the O-logs down there, but after we kill the O-logs, we then actually have to kill all these orcs anyway. They slowly filter into the pit. So all we're doing is just speeding up that process by taking them out early while they're all grouped together. Okay. All the O-logs are dead. There should be a few more orcs we need to kill. That should be most of the orcs in the pit. We can head up here. You can see our Caragor's doing work there. And we got a little animation because that Caragor needed a nap. Finish off the rest of these guys with fire. And that guy should die. We're now going to grab our Caragor out. Pull out our bow here. And can I get the angle right? I'll shoot that guy in the foot to avoid his opening lines. And give him a donk. That went really, really smoothly as a mission. Really happy about that one. Okay. And now the humans are officially reunited. So that is 3 out of the 4 game states that we need. And we still have 2 more forts to capture. Speaking of forts to capture, it is time to go for fort number 3. So, jump across here. A little too far. Had my mouse up slightly too far, but that's okay. And like last time, we're going to go into our inventory. So So we'll go into our garrison. And we'll deploy our orc. That seems a lot less orcs than I should have, but that's okay. That's all good. Oh, didn't make him my bodyguard. Go into the army. Army. Where is he? 3. Yeah, now my bodyguard, and now we can go into the siege. There we go. The game again is going to tell us, hey, you don't have any captains in this zone, are you really sure you want to go to the siege? And we're like, yep, we got this, all good. This is actually where sieges start to get dangerous for us. Because we're pummeling through the content so fast, and we're not doing any of the side missions or playing with the Nemesis system like the game expects you to, we're actually starting to get very underleveled. It's going to be more evident in the last siege, but this is starting to be where orcs, even on easy, can either 3 or 2 shot us because our level is so low. That's bad RNG, and we may actually get to see the high ground glitch here in a run, because I don't have any good insta-kills for this Overlord, except for the high ground. So that'll be fun if we get to see it.
We tattoo our warriors with ink made from ash and blood. Yesterday, we exhausted our supply.
We have a $25 donation from Nicholas. Thank you very much. And a $15 donation from Hans Pitchy Stockman. That's an interesting name. Wow, what an informative run on a game with many moving parts to it. Put this towards Fire Emblem Three Houses named Bayleaf. Which puts Bayleaf in the lead for the Three Houses file name incentive. We also have an incentive for the Time Sweeper's name in Blinks 2 Masters of Time and Space. Currently, Jimmy is winning with $30.
Okay, so here we're actually going to see the Angry Toddler strike. It's going to go very quick. I'll try my best to explain it. So we're going to activate Elven Rage, shoot the ground, hold the left click, and we get an insta-kill on this enemy. We're again going to hold our mouse button down, shoot the ground, and instantly kill this enemy. So, we call that the Angry Toddler strike because to actually activate it, you need all the Elven Might you have, all the Elven Rage you have, so essentially all the rage you can contain, but you need to make sure that you have 0 might. So we call it the Angry Toddler strike because, like always, toddlers are full of rage but have absolutely no might behind them at all. And that was named by one of my community members, and it was one of the best names they ever came up for with the glitch, so I love it. Oh, unfortunately we got downed by the dragon we freed, by the Drake we freed, but that's okay, all good. That's one of our 2 lives down, but thankfully when we capture this spot we'll get one of our lives down. Okay. Fortunately we did, with the, I would have liked to have killed this guy with the Angry Toddler strike. Ooh. This is an example of a closing line. He may even be a death-defying. Yep, this is a death-defying. So, this is, again, RNG. We don't know the statistics of most of the warriors. I should have known him being a tank that he may have death-defying, and I should have avoided that. I, however, didn't. And so he gets back up and goes back to 50% HP. That's one of his stats. So, just not thinking about all the moving parts that I needed to. But all good. We're going to do this right this time when we're getting lower to low HP. We're going to use fire, because fire is an elemental effect that won't trigger a closing line. And we are also going to try to kill him with our glaive, because again, that won't trigger a closing line here. Come on, please die. Like I said, these health totals are starting to get really high for these mobs, which is why it's taking us so long. Also, I did not summon my bodyguard like I should have. That's okay. He can help me now take this point. Oh, he's only level 8. I should have picked a better bodyguard. He's probably going to die very quickly. But that's okay. It doesn't matter what level he is for the capture speed, it only matters that he's here. So, What I'm hoping is that we find another captain or two in this area that we can take. I need these arrows. Grab this Caragor nest, which is going to summon me some Caragors around this corner. They always spawn out of sight, so you can't see their spawning animation, so we roughly are able to manipulate where they stay. I believe the other guy is 22, I saw there, so we can most likely, we're not going to donk him. Instead, we're going to fight this Olog mono a mono. I could try to lure him over to the stairs over there, and in fact, I may give that a go, and we might be able to see our first instance of the high ground. But it depends completely if the Olog is going to follow me or not here. Looks like he might. Over here, buddy. Come on. Come on, buddy. I'm right here. Come on. No. He unfortunately won't leash that far away from the point. Oh, but as you can see, I am now so much low level than these guys that they one-shot me. That was a one-shot. Thankfully, he didn't finish his animation, so that didn't count as a life lost. But he did, yeah. He ended up killing me there.
Come with hunger. Let's give that pink skin of yours.
And he is the one I'm going to capture. We might actually end up fighting him first, because this Olog is going to be a huge pain, and we might be able to use this guy to help me capture him. Keeping an eye on the Olog at all times, since he is enraged. Oh no! Oh, so my follower decided to assist me by killing the orc that I was about to capture, and he's now dead. So good job, follower. Thank you very much for the help there. You were very helpful and not at all a pain in the bottom. But that's okay. Again, that's just another part of RNG that we just have to deal with here. And since he is a war chief, we do need to kill him. Again, we could shame him, but that will give us a very good chance for him to show up in the Sauron fight, and we don't want that to happen. Oh. Tried to get a glaive on him, but that didn't work, and instead he killed me. So one of my 2 lives down again. Oh, he is hitting like a truck. Alright, we're just going to blow this barrel over. Hopefully... There he is, he's down. So killing him with the glaive, avoiding any kind of death-defying and opening line. Yeah, it's level 10 guy for being such low level. Is still taking along. He's doing way better than I thought he would. Oh. One side effect of these orcs being enraged, by the way, as you can see my follower is enraged, is they can actually lash out at anyone, including me. Friendly fire is very much a thing in this game, for both my orcs and enemy orcs. And you can actually see some instances of orcs killing their own allies because they're enraged and lashing out at people. We're going to take these Caragors. Now, these Caragors being here and being red gives me an indication that there is a Beastmaster here. And I need to be careful, and I actually think it's the middle one there, because you can tell when they're immune to the Caragor donk because they won't be knocked over when you run them over, like that guy. So he is the Beastmaster. Unfortunately, he is also the War Chief, so we're going to have to fight him regularly again. These guys are not playing nice with us. Alright, set them on fire, and hopefully we can get our follower up. I'm not sure if I'm going to have time here or not to get him up before he bleeds out. Yep, got him up. We're using the fire not because it's the best damage, but because it's obviously an AoE attack, and it's good at also CCing. Fire is actually the weakest damage source we can do to orcs out of the elementals we have access to, as it's flat damage, so the higher level the orcs, the less overall damage it does. That's unfortunate. He's now enraged. I was going to take him, but I guess we're just going to have to kill him instead. Yeah, fire is a static flat damage, so while it's really good at CC, eventually it does start doing low damage. Poison is percentage-based damage, but it doesn't have a really good... It has a small CC component to it, but not a really good one. So we end up using fire mainly for the CC. There is also Curse, but Curse is not that great versus orcs in general. It's really powerful against us, but not that good against orcs. Okay, so we're just waiting for a few more moments on this platform before we head to the final fight. Oh, stay in the circle, stay in the circle. One more capture point to go, and then we're done with this nightmare of a Saragost. But that's okay. That is exactly what I expect out of Saragost these days. And another Olog. We are getting Olog galore here. He's actually level 20, and you can see he's already half HP, so he's been taking some friendly fire. Probably from the siege beasts above, they have a tendency to rain fire down on this area. But thankfully we can finally take an orc to our side. So normally I'd like to run with like 2 or 3 extra orcs in here, but hey, at least we picked up one, and we managed to keep our level 10 bodyguard alive throughout this instance so far, so all good. And of course we do have to kill the war chief regardless, so we're just going to focus him down now. And while we're waiting, while we're doing that, we may as well grab some extra talent points. As I just noticed, we hit 23, which allows us to get Ceaseless Might upgrade. So that's actually a really important might upgrade. You can now see my might bar is twice as big. Ceaseless Might allows me to do double damage, but only expend 1/2 of my might bar. So now I'm going to be filling my might bar up twice as big, and I'm going to be doing more damage. You can see it's now red. He's immune to execution, but I saw that flicker up as we got his opening lines. So that's fine, we'll just use fire. He's also fireproof. Okay, we are just going to have to fight him the old-fashioned way. But essentially we can now do double damage with our executions. We're going to get rid of this guy. We're actually going to... If he shows up at the Sauron fight, we don't mind, because he doesn't have any of the traits that we don't really care about. And now he is shamed away. We really need to pick up our follower here. We're just... Okay, we're going to cleave this. Which did nothing, because we hit nothing. And there we go, cool. Our follower will help us capture the square. Square is captured, and we can move on to the Overlord room. And now I'm going to have to perform the one glitch, the insta-kill glitch in the game that I found. I found it by complete accident during a run. I was not intending to do it, but we hopefully get to see how insanely pixel perfect this is. It's not too pixel perfect in terms of where the enemy is, but it is very precise on where I need to stand. Before we talked about how this game really doesn't cope with elevations. Hopefully if I'm able to pull off this glitch, you'll understand how bad this game is at working out enemies that are on different elevations. So we're going to go for the high ground glitch, and if anyone is a fan of the prequels of Star Wars, you should know why it's called the high ground glitch. But unfortunately it is the only insta-kill method we have versus this guy. We could technically use the Angry Toddler Strike, but I don't think I have the Elven Rage. I do, but I actually want to save the Elven Rage, so I'm going to go for the high ground. So, we get our might. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go, we got it. First try. So, I have to stand precisely on a stair location. And if I precisely stand on a stair location, he's a certain distance away from me and lower than me, and I press the execute button, it instantly kills him. So, I would like to say that while I discovered the glitch, I had absolutely no hand in working out how it worked. All credit goes to Kaiser. He spent 24 to like 48 hours straight trying to figure out exactly how it worked. But I am so happy that I got to show this off in a run, because it is such a cool glitch, even if it is insanely precise to do. Okay, and we lost 10 seconds due to RNG here, because Talion, since we cut off the head of the Olog during that animation, Talion is now going to push the head off the rail before talking. So, more RNG. On RNG, on RNG. And we got the speech glitch, so donation or poem time, I'll leave that up to the host to decide.
Let's see if I can find one of the quick ones here. Ho, 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 to the bottle I go, to heal my heart and drown my woe. Rain may fall and wind may blow, and many miles be still to go, but under a tall tree I will lie, and let the clouds go sailing by. I believe that's either Merry or Pippin who recites that one.
That is absolutely fantastic. Cool. So, speech glitch is over. We need to assign an overlord to this area. I'm actually going to assign the Olag that we have. Olog, not Olag. I corrected myself. Sorry, excuse me. Had to cough again. Ologs have a tendency to throw bombs, and bombs are really bad for the last fight because they remove, if they hit me, they remove my might meter. So we're going to assign those guys. We're also going to go ahead and grab a mighty shot here. And now we get to move on to one of the coolest missions in the game in my mind. Just because of, where is it? There it is. Just because of the massive changes this mission underwent. So this is meant to be an escort mission that we're going to. In Minas Ethel has now been taken over by the Nazgul, and it's now called Minas Morgul. And we're meant to escort Atariel through this city. We're now starting her quest line. And it's a really long pain in the ass escort mission. However, I wanted to improve it, so I went out of my way to try to figure out how far away we could get from Atariel before we sort of mission failed. And then I found we could get, relatively far away. And I went, okay, Kaiser, can you please go ahead and find a better route than this? I know we can do it. You need to find a better route. Kaiser ended up finding a better route. And during that process of me learning the new route, I failed and completely went off track. And actually found an even better route while failing. So, I'm actually going to wait here for my focus to recharge because we are jumping right near mission fail planes constantly. There are a bunch of fail planes everywhere, and I need all the focus I need to get over this. But essentially, this is the route that I failed to... Come on. Thank you, game. It's really not liking my jumps today. I found that you could get up to this tower, and then Kaiser found a really good route from that, and we now have this route. This escort mission used to be about 4.5 minutes. It's usually about 35 seconds now if I do everything right. And this is actually the mission where I found out that the high ground glitch exists. Sorry about the overlapping voice lines. The game really didn't expect us to get here fast enough. And this is where we actually found the high ground existence. It is possible to do the high ground on Nazgul. Oh, that is really bad. He interrupted my Elven Rage, so I lost the ability for the to now Elven Rage him. Okay, cool. We have to do this fight normal mode. That's okay. Not the worst thing in the world. This is how we used to do the fight before we found out about the high ground glitch, so all good. And essentially we're going to be doing the same thing we always do, which is build up my might. We're meant to get in the shield, but you can just roll out of the damage there and not be struck by it. But we're going to do this like we do always in Nazgul fights. Essentially, 4 strikes, and then they will teleport away and do something fancy. 2, 3. I'm going to get in the light in this purpose, because there's no point striking while I have the HP. Keep stabbing him. One more cycle should get him. He may try to heal for one more attempt. So each of the named Nazgul, in this case this is Sul'dan, each of the named Nazgul has one particular special ability as well as a bunch of their regular Nazgul abilities. So in this case Sul'dan's special ability is to heal during the fight. He's not meant to be in the light, but occasionally he glitches into the light. Don't know it, but Sul'dan fight is down. Wasn't the smoothest, but perfectly acceptable. Okay, so we need to continue on with the Atariel storyline, since she is the only storyline we have left to do. We saved Nazgul fighting till the end because A, it sort of lines up better with the missions, and B, because fighting Nazgul generally sucks anyway. For example, this mission we need to own the Seragos fort before it's even available. The mission before that we just did, we need to reunite the humans before it's available. So it all sort of works out the same. We cannot do Saragost in one run. We do have to come back here, which is what we're doing now. But it's all good. No? Okay. The game is just not liking my Talon strikes today. It's being very rude. Okay, cool. Alright, and we're going to grab the final talent we hopefully should need. I say hopefully because there is a chance I might need poison AoE as a backup instead of fire AoE, but I don't normally get that unless it's an absolute emergency and we're basically stuck behind a wall or stuck in the point where we can't do anything else. So we'll put our final point into Shadow Strike. That used to be one of the first abilities we used to get before we discovered the Caragor glitch. But since we have the Caragor glitch, we no longer have a need for it. Oh, my shooting is shocking today. I really apologise about my shooting. Alright, we blow up that barrel. We strike Hammerhead. That's enough to knock him into phase 2. He'll slowly slide away as he talks to us because we don't want to talk to him anymore. You can see all of the ghouls have the same weird animation, which is kind of creepy. Alright, our door is blown open, and we can go ahead and move to the next part of the Hammerhead fight. We're going to pull out our cleave all the ghouls here. Come on. Come on. Oh, we don't have enough arrows. I'm going, why is Shadow Strike not working? But Shadow Strike requires 2 arrows, and we only have 1. So unfortunately I lost all my might I gained from the ghouls then, but nice and quick to build it back. Because ghouls are everywhere. One of them clipped me. The unfortunate downside of that rune that increases my damage, lets me build double might, is that I get clipped a lot, especially in these big AoE fights, and I lose my might. Very, very quickly. Okay, that's Hammerhead into phase 3 now. He's going to teleport away again. We're going to come over here, pull out our bow, Shadow Strike to him this time. Actually have enough arrows to do the Shadow Strike, which is nice. And instantly break him with a double might. He's then going to turn and smack us in the head. Really painful by the sounds of that. And Atariel comes to our rescue. Hence why this is an Atariel mission.
What about yours?
And now we're going to go ahead and go, well, we really don't like getting smacked in the head by a hammer, so we're going to go and take our revenge straight away on Hammerhead. Rightio. So, teleport over here, and this is... I've talked a lot about how bad my shooting is today. Everyone is now going to get to laugh at how bad my shooting is, because this mission requires really good shooting. So, let's hope that I don't make an absolute mockery of this, because I need to hit a lot of precise shots here. Okay, so I need to kill this Drake with headshots. Yep, got that one too. Missed that one completely. Got that one. Missed that one. And missed that one too. Really rough, but that's okay. It is what it is. Oh, Atariel got the final kill on that. That's really unlikely, but thankfully that's the last of my shooting, my terrible shooting you have to see.
The weapon of the enemy against him.
Like a ring of power.
Well, not completely the end of it, but at least I don't have to kill these dragons with shots. Okay, I'm going to bet that the left dragon is going to attack me first. So we knock this one down. Then we knock that one down. Thankfully, like we said before, don't get burned, Caragor. Caragors are so OP that we can even donk on Drakes. So thankfully we take the Caragor and we donk on this Drake as well, and that's the Drake's dead.
happens to the Nazgul when
We're now going to get off our drakes.
It returns to Barad-dûr.
Up
Growing
or
in
to
strength,
here.
it can again take physical form.
So, they are banished from death.
And enter the Helm Hammerhead fight. We have full Elven Rage, so hopefully I can keep him stun locked, and this fight will go nice and quick. But not always. Doesn't always go as planned. So he's going to pull me to him, and then we're going to engage Elven Rage. We're going to use half of our might to try to keep him in the stun lock. Looks good so far. Okay, he's playing Gaul today. That's really, really great for me. That should be nope, not enough to kill him, but we were very, very close. And now we just have a few more strikes here, and that will break him. So that's a really good hammer fight. I'm very, very happy with that. He's now returned to the darkness, and we have one more Atarial mission left, and one more fort left before we finally get to the end game. Hopefully these ghouls all die. I have no control at the moment. They're meant to explode, but nope, they're gonna bully me. Ghouls, please. No, they exploded afterwards. Okay, cool. Quest. Time to go to Gravewalkers. So, back to Gorgoth for the final sense. For the final time. Actually, no, I need to head back to Saragosse for a moment. I just missed one thing. It will only take me a few seconds, thankfully. So, lose a few seconds of load time here, but all good. You can also fast travel through using the map and actually moving to the different locations and fast traveling. I find it personally easier to fast travel via the quest menu, whereas some other runners find it easier to travel via the map. It's all preference, it doesn't really matter that much. But what I didn't do is I did not pack away the boys. So these ones are especially going to be useful because they are higher level, a little bit higher level than the ones I've already got packed away, and they're going to be needed later on. So we're going to move you up here. Except for you, you're my level 11 guy, and I think that's everyone. It is. Excellent. So we can now go back to Gorgoth, whoops, and get to the final run of the game. So we're essentially starting on the home stretch now. Gorgoth is still a massively long siege, mainly because we are so underleveled compared to what the game really expects you to be. Most of the time the game sort of expects you to be in high 30s, early 40s, and we're going to enter Gorgoth around level 28, 27, 28. But first off, we're going to do a bunch of cool movement now that we have Talon Strike. So instead of riding a Caragor through here like we used to, we're just going to Talon Strike everywhere and then use a bunch of up warps to get to our location nice and quick. So there's one. There's a second. I said there's a second game. Nope. Apparently the game did not want to give me that up warp. That's okay. We will just run there. Only saves about 15 seconds, but sometimes the game is mean. Okay, cool. So this is Gravewalkers. This actually has a really cool glitch in it that I will hopefully show off, where we get to skip a certain cutscene. Too far forward. Need to run back to Gravitarial. Cool.
Must be close.
As long as you
How many Nazgul are there?
Wait here for a cutscene to start. This is not the one to skip. One thing in this game that the game doesn't really tell you is that ghosts are extremely weak to fire. All undead are actually. So now that we've set them on fire, we can just leave. They will burn to death, and we're going to spawn camp this guy. The moment he comes out, we're going to kill him. So we're now hunting Isildur. Isildur is a Nazgul who has the power to raise the dead. That's his special ability. So it's all about raising the fallen soldiers of Gondor, and we're going to basically see that. But essentially we're putting the soldiers to rest. But there is a soldier on my right here, you can see on the map. We're actually going to leave him at the end because he's involved in the glitch. Okay, you did not want to do stealth attack apparently. There we go. So, what we're going to do here is we're going to tell Atariel to go kill that guy. That should get her in position. We're going to grab those arrows. Stealth kill this guy. Atariel's going to deal with that one we did. And we actually do the cutscene glitch by abusing Atariel. Unfortunately, I'm out of focus here because I did not manage my focus well, but that's okay. We're going to tell Atariel to kill that guy. And what we're going to do is we're going to try to rush and get in position here. And if we do everything right, the cutscene that's meant to play just doesn't play and Isildur immediately spawns like that. So that's a really cool little skip we have. It's basically positional. For some reason, if you're too close to that area, the cutscene just refuses to play and Isildur just goes, well, you're here, may as well fight you. So this is phase 1 of the Isildur fight. This is not the last time we'll see Isildur. Unfortunately, we do have to fight him again. And we essentially just need to get him down to a certain HP and then he's just going to go ballistic. So we'll hopefully trigger that here. Yep. He should start blinking around the map and we need to run into Atariel's circle. And now, hopefully, we hope RNG that he just bounces into the light early. He did. That triggers phase 2. So phase 2 is here. So Idril's father has now spawned. We're going to stand over here for a second. Nothing suspicious at all about this. Lure all the ghosts over and burn them all to a crisp. Again, ghosts are really weak to fire, so we're just going to continue burning them here. He's down. And that's the very last mission we have to do before the final mission. So we're now going to enter our final siege.
You and I will meet again.
And for everyone wondering what we were doing by packing up all of those orcs into my inventory, you're about to see.
He swells his ranks as...
Okay, so essentially the game, because the game has that storage location and because you can move orcs between zones, the game also has a limit on the amount of orcs you can put in a zone. Now, because this is Gorgoth, you know, the last zone, super scary, it already has an entire roster full of orcs. If I were to go into the game and start pumping out a bunch of orcs from my garrison, this area is already full. So what happens is the game instead goes, well, this area is full, your garrison orc is instantly going to kill a random captain. And they can include captains that are guarding a bunch of bodyguards to all of the war chiefs. So essentially, every captain we deploy, including this level 12 guy, is killing like a level 30 plus captain most of the time. So that is why we save up all of our captains, and we just spend a few seconds doing that. Okay, so if we have a few more donations, I've just got to dump all these guys out. It will just take me a few moments, so feel free to go ahead with that.
Well, you can go to donate.ausspeedruns.com to donate some money for Beyond Blue, a charity that works with and raises awareness of mental health problems. We are coming up on time for the donation incentive for Fire Emblem Three Houses, which is to determine what Byleth's name will be. It's looking like Bayleaf is winning at $30. And then we have a incentive for Blink 2, Masters of Time and Space. The name of the Time Sweeper, currently Jimmy, is winning on 30. I will shamelessly plug that you can donate for the Fantasy Zone Master System Bosses run on Saturday, as well as a short hike as a game inclusion on Sunday, both of which require $500. So get to it, people.
Okay, I was actually looking there for some high-level orcs, but unfortunately I don't have any. I am stuck with these orcs. I'm also buying siege upgrades here. This is just me spending the rest of my money. Because this is the last time we're going to need the money, and it's going to help with this incredibly hard siege. Now, do remember, even though the game is on easy, some of these orcs are going to be in their level 40 plus. They're going to be so much higher level than us that they can one or two shot us. So this is an extremely hard part of the fight. We can get lucky, we can get a couple of orcs that are my level or lower, but it is actually relatively rare to see that low level orcs in this final fortress. Let's see if we get lucky on the Overlord here. Alright, so we're going to have to try for the high ground for a second time in a row. So, again, he's just an O-log. That's just bad RNG, but that's how this game goes. I love saying the word RNG, and I'm sure chat is so sick of me saying the word RNG, but it is what it is. And if I hated RNG so much, I wouldn't run this game, but I love it. It keeps the game fresh for me. The Nemesis system is such a great system, and we just don't even touch the surface of how good it is in the speedrun.
Determination.
Alright, so let's get into this fort. Now that we have Shadow Strike though, we get to enter a really cool way. We'll just Shadow Strike up to this guy. And then immediately jump down here. Straight away we encounter a War Chief, which is an O-log. So, straight away, more bad RNG.
This fort is defended by Sauron's finest. You cannot take it.
Sure it is, buddy.
You're expecting me to come up with some horrible way we're gonna kill
Alright, I'm gonna grab a drink while they're talking to
I
me.
can't be bothered. We'll just start cutting and see where the move
Good idea. Remember to stay hydrated, everybody.
Alrighty, so you can see, oh, we've actually got a level 25. That's actually really good RNG for us. So we may be able to take him as long as he doesn't enrage or die to something silly. So even though I know this guy is fireproof, I'm using fire basically to clear a bunch of the orcs around here. There is a totem. Where is it? There it is. If we leave that flag up, all of the normal orcs will enrage, and they are become really hard to kill, so we don't want to do that. But you can see my low-level orcs are absolutely getting slaughtered. Most of my orcs didn't even make it inside this base, and the one that did make it inside is immediately downed. So they won't be very long for this world, and most likely I won't be keeping them up. It is actually technically still better to keep them up, if I can, but if they're too far away, it's just not worth my time. We're going to try to get this guy up while we've got a second. Excellent, he's back up and running. Oh, there is another banner up, so I need to pull out my bow here, pop that banner, because the normal orcs enraging here are insane. Probably should have used the Angry Toddler Strike here, thinking about it, but I was too focused on that level 25 and wanting him. But I will probably end up using the Angry Toddler Strike on the next wave if that does not go well either. We're downed, but the game has not decided who downed us. It finally has. And that's one of our 2 lives down. Okay, there's another banner down somewhere because they're enraging again. There it is there. Okay, he's finally down. Oh, he was a big orky boy. Now we're going to focus down this guy. We're immediately going to grab him, and hey, we have a follower in this area again. We have 2 now. That's actually really fantastic. It is really rare to find orcs at my level or lower in this zone, so I am just happy for any of them. We need to kill that banner again. We're getting there slowly, and again, this is just a war of attrition. Especially versus these high-level orcs. We kind of just have to use all of the tricks of the trade. I could technically use the Karagor donk on this guy, but we're so close to killing him right now that I'm not going to bother. Oh, never mind. if he doesn't play nice, then I will use donk him. No, he's good. Okay. Unfortunately, this is also why I didn't summon my Caragor straight away. I now have to get off it to get this guy back up and running. And I'm hoping my Caragor usually does really stupid things while I'm not around, aka dies. And that's why I normally don't bring out my Caragor early until I need him. But thankfully there is Caragor bait just above there, so we can grab new Caragors. Unfortunately these aren't... And I just killed the Caragor because I got a headshot and a crit. These Caragors are epic Caragors, so we're stuck with this. And one of them's immune to the donk, so I'm actually going to not even bother here. I'm just going to get off my Caragor and we're just going to do the Angry Toddler Strike to clean these mobs up. Okay, mainly I want to focus on the War Chief if possible, so again we're going to shoot the ground. I don't have any arrows. Oh, that's really annoying. Because I don't have any arrows, I have no way to dump my might, so therefore I can't do the Angry Toddler Strike. We did kill the War Chief, but we had to use all of our Elven Rage to kill one guy. Unfortunately, that was just a mistake by me. Mistakes happen. Oh, good. The guy's bleeding over there again. One more time I'm going to get this guy up and running, mainly because he's level 25 and he is pretty useful. Plus the level 23 over here is enraged, and I want to try to give him time to get out of his enraged state, because it would be really nice to have him on the team. There's an example of one of the random orcs dying to friendly fire. I was nowhere near that orc at all, but he died to friendly fire. So that's great for me. And we got this guy. Excellent. Things are starting to look up for me. I'm actually feeling pretty confident about this now. Obviously, anything can go wrong here. Still, we've still got quite a bit of Saragosse to go through, but I'm starting to feel like this is at least going relatively well, considering how bad some of the RNG here has been. Okay, we'll set this guy on fire again. Try to kill him with a combination of elemental effects, ranged effects, and cleaves. He's down. Okay, that level 25 is not moving. He keeps bleeding out right there, so I'm just going to leave him be. At this point, it doesn't seem like he's going to move, so there's no point trying to go back and pick him up again. He's just going to bleed out. Alright, moving on to the next area. So we can see there's another broken orc over there in a later area that we have to go to, so that's great. Oh, and there we go. An actual war chief died. So that's huge. That's massive. That saves me a lot of time, especially as there's no good Caragor nests over there. Speaking of Caragor nests, I didn't pop this one before I started climbing that bridge. Caragors here always pretty much spawn on that bridge. So we'll pop that nest. Grab some Caragors. Try not to crit this Caragor to death this time. And there's our guy who refused to move, finally bleeding out. Please get off the wall, Caragor. No, get off. Off. Caragors love to climb. Oh, and it wouldn't matter anyway, because this guy has the Beast Mastery talent, Beast Proof talent, which makes him immune to the Caragor donk. So, all that effort to get a Caragor, and he's completely immune anyway. Alright. A few more burns. He should be pretty much ready to go.
Brought down by easily tuck.
Shouldn't have gone for a grand execute. So that's death defying for him. He's back to 50% HP, and we have to start the fight again.
You have a foot in the door. Now we'll cut that foot off
That's
and
okay.
shove it down your throat.
Okay. You do that, buddy. So, even though that point is up for capture, at this point we do have to still kill this guy as he is the war chief of this area, so there's no point going for the capture here until he's dead. I'm not going to make the same mistake twice, and we're going to glaive him to finish him, just in case he has a closing line as well that he wants to give us. Death Defying and Closing are actually unique to each other, so you can get both from one orc. Alright, second last spot to take. This one is usually an absolute nightmare to take because there's no good Caragor nest around. However, everyone's already dead because they killed themselves. Right, I'm going to take the time here to just build a little more Elven Rage if I can, just in case I need it for the final set of orcs in the final spot. Need to stay in the circle as much as I can. Thankfully, that one level 23 captain that I managed to take is still up and running, so he's helping with the capture speed immensely. However, because I'm so low level compared to this zone, the actual generic orcs here actually do contribute to slow down on the capture point, so that's also why I'm killing them. Alright, final capture point. Final one. Let's see how bad it is. I count 4 orcs over there. That's a pretty bad number. Yep, let's get them all off their mounts, and then we're not even going to muck around here. We're going to use Angry Toddler Strike on them. So we're sending all their orcs just to have a nap. All their Caragors just to have a nap. Nothing else bad is happening to those Caragors. Anyone who tells you anything otherwise is a complete liar. Those Caragors are just napping. Alrighty. I'm going to make sure I have enough arrows for this time. Oh, that was a curse attack too, so if that hit me I would have lost all my Elven Rage. Alright. Shoot the ground. And Angry Toddler Strike. Shoot the ground again. Angry Toddler Strike. Oh, that was a tower too. They are another really rare orc. Alright, let's grab some Caragors as a backup. Oh. Thought I downed then. I did not. Where do those Caragors spawn? Okay, they spawned here. That one's retreating, and... oh, the other one's here. Okay, there he is. Oh, failed the donk, but that's okay. He's not immune to the donk, so now we kill him, and that is the last of the orcs outside of the Overlord that we need to kill. Unfortunately, that level 33 one retreating means he's probably going to come back in the Sauron fight at the end, which is the next mission we're going to be doing, but... it is what it is, and I'm not going to run after him now because he's very far away. We get our follower up, as he's actually managed to make it over the wall. And he will help us capture this point. We're not going to get Elven Rage back. With the lack of Elven Rage, we're probably not going to go for an insta-kill method on the next Nazgul we have to fight, but... it was probably better to take care of those 2 orcs there and guarantee a decent fight rather than have a chance to kill a Nazgul. So, final fight. I really need to get the high ground here again, as I've exhausted all of my other options. I've exhausted the Angry Toddler Strike, and he is immune to the Caragor Donk. He's also level 40, so he has a huge HP pool being a level 40 Olog. So if I do not get this, it is going to take me forever. I have unlimited chances, but if he starts beating on me too much, or his other orcs are running too much interference, I'll just end up fighting him normally. But let's see how we go here. Alright, so again, we need to build the Elven Rage first up. His other follower there is looking like they're already going to be a pain here. Okay, we've got our might, but he's too close to us. Okay, looks good here. Where is he? Oh, he's so far away. Come on. We're going to slow down time here. Go for it. Got it. I actually got it. Oh, no, I didn't. I thought I got it then. Oh, I was so happy. I was so pleased with myself. I must have been too close. I thought the animation that was playing was correct, but it was not correct. That's okay. We'll try again. No. That is again a failure. I think I'm too high up on the stairs, but as I said, this is a fairly precise trick, and I do not have a lot of wriggle room, especially with how many of these mobs are still around here. Okay, this looks about good, but I need to target him directly. Last try here, otherwise I am wasting time by trying this. So we're going to go for it one more time. We're going to try to get some space here. Oh! And this is why I'm worried about fighting him direct on. That was one attack that brought me down to the ground. So, last try here, I think. I think after this try, if we fail, we fail. No, he's way too close to us here. Ah, don't run up the O-log. Come on. We got this. No panic. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, he's just intending to throw mobs at me instead of coming closer. Oh, got it. There we go. Actually got him. He was on half HP, but I managed to get it. So, fourth time's the charm. Not the cleanest I've ever done that, but I'm still more than happy to take that, because fighting through the rest of his HP would have been a nightmare still.
You not rest easy, I think.
There we go. Alright, one last mission. And then unfortunately this beautiful run has to come to an end. But before that we've got one more speech, and since the last two have broken, there's a very good chance this one will break as well. So I hope we have some poetry prepared, just in case.
We have a $10 donation from Trip DM. Just saying again, always great to see you run on Fridays, bud. And seeing you at a marathon is awesome. Gonna add this money to the Ratchet & Clank Deadlock incentive.
Thank you, Trip DM. I really appreciate that, buddy. Alright. Almost done with the silent stare while all the orcs are cheering. And this must be the most awkward thing for his followers to be just staring up, and this guy's just like, yep.
Just, yeah, real impressive tree stance there, mate.
Yeah.
Yep, really working on your mind good.
That's the most motivational speech I've ever heard. It's a shame because the speeches are actually kind of like interesting. They're a bit angry and ragey, but they're also like, you know, good motivational speeches. Again, we're going to make the O-log a master of this fort just because I don't want to deal with O-logs in the final fight, and we don't get to pick which ones we take. The game picks for us, but it cannot pick overlords if they're assigned. So here we are, the final fight. We have completed all of the missions successfully, otherwise this fight doesn't actually exist, this trigger point doesn't exist. We have tried many ways to get that to exist beforehand, but it just physically doesn't.
We'll never take Ranger! Your little adventure ends here. You think you're close to the end, but you are still 1,000,000 miles away.
Okay, so he's enraged by Shadow Strike, which is the ability I use to get him. thankfully our Olog, which is the one we're trying to focus down at the moment, he is dazed by fire, so we can just use that to our advantage and kill him very quickly. We don't need to be taking any more orcs at this point. If it is quicker to take them, aka if they've got a huge HP pool, I will do that. Otherwise we'll just end up killing them because that becomes much quicker. Okay, now that the Olog is down, there's always a guaranteed Olog at the start of this. We can jump on Steve for one last ride.
Your army fights well. For orcs.
So, first guy down. Oh, and we got the helicopter legs. That's really cool. We're going to shoot... Oh, I was going to bring out my bow and shoot this guy in the foot, but unfortunately he spotted me before I had a chance to do that.
Killed you yet? Shrock! Why haven't I put you down for good? Suppose I'll just have to do it now.
So again, we could have avoided this if we shot him in the foot, but we couldn't pull out our bow in time. I was holding down the button the entire time, but the game was like, nah, you need to hear this line. Alright, 3 more orcs to go.
We must push through.
I'm pushing. You worry about your orcs.
One of them is arrow proof. Okay, so there's our assassin again, by the way. This is the guy who's now cheated death, hunted us down and we ran away. He is now again hunted us down, and we're finally going to fight him, mono on mono. Oh, didn't get the donk on him, but that's okay. And there he is. He got his glorious fight that he wanted with us finally, after all that time.
I had to run a long way to get here, just to get that chance to run you through for the last time. I can't wait any longer!
Alright, so pretty good RNG on the bridge fight here. I didn't get any Beastmaster Orcs, so I'm happy with the RNG.
This is only the beginning.
He gets a donk. One final donk for the game. Oh, apparently the game does not want me to donk. I got knocked off my Caragor. That's interesting, and it died. The game did not want me to have it. Oh, it didn't die, sorry. It is having a nap. Caragors don't die in this game. And no one can tell me any different. But it's deciding just to have a really awkward nap there. It's okay, Steve. You've definitely earned it, buddy. You've done a ton of work today.
Never thought I'd hear that.
Sorry about fighting around you while you're having a nap. Hopefully we're not waking you. Okay. Almost done here. Oh, closing line.
This is not my day.
Nice and quick closing line, but still a closing line we could have avoided. Okay.
Sauron's throwing his entire army at us.
So, time for a Nazgul fight. Time to get our revenge on Isildur.
Your time has come, champion. All that you have wrought has led you here. We are bound together in this brotherhood. This is the fate of kings and men.
It shall not be mine.
So overall, the RNG in this seed has actually been pretty terrible. I'm actually a little bit worried about going over the estimate. I really hope that's okay. If you need to end it early, I completely understand, but I am fairly close to the end of the game, but unfortunately it's just been a really bad seed for me.
Oh, it's fine. We have buffer time for
Oh, okay, great. I would really like to apologise to all the staff for that.
Mate, I think I went 15 minutes over at fast with my Castlevania run, which was even more cursed than this one.
I have no idea what the time is, but I'm assuming... I feel like this isn't going to plan exactly the way it should be.
We're at 3:05 at the moment.
3:05, so it's going to be close, but it will be a little bit overestimate. Probably around 3:14, 3:15 maybe. So we just have to wait here. Come on, Isidore. Play nice for once, please. Sure. He's going to do one more cycle here, and then we can finally down Isidore for the final time. So while he's jumping around like a madman, I'm just doing my best to try to build Elven Rage where I can. There's not many targets I have left, unfortunately, to build my... Sorry, my might, not my rage. But that's okay. We are jumping around a bit. Come on. Can you please stop jumping? Isidore, seriously. RNG. Isn't it an absolute beautiful thing? You should have stopped jumping a long time ago, Isidore. Nope, still jumping. There we go.
Your journey has ended, Elf Lord. You fight for the
Okay, that's Isidore done. Also, for anyone who hasn't played this game yet, there are major spoilers coming up. I cannot prevent them. This is the end of the story, obviously. If you want to tune out for 45 seconds just while I quickly explain, please do. Okay. Kira Brimbor and Atariel betrayed us. Again, I have a crazy conspiracy theory to think they didn't, but essentially they betrayed us. They took... But my mic. They took the One Ring off us, and we started dying. So in a last-ditch effort, led by Shelob, we decided to pick up Isildur's ring and become a Nazgul. So we are now a Nazgul. We are still a free-willed Nazgul, but we are a Nazgul. And we are going to go fight the Witch King. It was one of the crazy, saddest cutscenes I've ever seen. Unfortunately, I had to skip it for this run, but I literally was screaming at my computer monitor going, no, 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 please, no, 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 don't do this, because it was an extremely sad and bad cutscene, picking up the Nazgul ring and basically putting it on or dying. Those are our two options. Alrighty, that's the spoiler section done. Okay, jump across here. A few more points to take, and then we finally get to go fight the Witch King. We already have our Elven Rage at full, so we are instead going to play Pogo here. Actually, there's a couple too many orcs here for my liking, so we're going to kill these ones. But we're essentially playing Pogo here just to avoid this Nazgul strike. We don't actually need to kill the base Nazgul here. We're actually going to raise the dead. Since we're now we can do that, we have that ability, and they're going to help us speed up the capture. But we're playing Pogo here because we're playing on easy. Anytime the Nazgul attacks, so we slow down to give us extra time to parry. So playing Pogo stops us from doing that. Alright, one more dash across here. Up we travel. And into the next capture zone. So again, we're going to set everyone on fire. This is a relatively new strat as well. Actually raising the dead here does slightly increase the capture time. So now that we've raised dead, now we're going to go back to Pogoing again. It's only like a couple of seconds, so it's not super necessary, but since I'm behind estimate, I'm going to take every single shortcut I can. And this is a speed run. What's a speed run if not going fast? Alright, one more capture point. Dive here. Raise the dead one more time, and then play Pogo with one of them. Rather play one with more in the centre. And you can see the Nazgul's having real trouble attacking me. He's sort of just blinking in and out because he doesn't know what to do here. Alright. Final time to go fight the Witch King. And my favourite joke of all time here. Everyone keeps going, "You're going to fight the Witch King?" I'm like, "Yeah, Witch King." They're like, "No, Witch King, Witch King." And, "What do you mean, Witch King? Which king do you mean?" And I go, "Well, it's not Witch King, it's this king." Anyway, here's this king.
Yeah, I heard what's on third.
I'm glad someone got that reference. Alright, so here we're essentially just waiting for the Witch King to open up a stun window, which is right there. We're then going to activate our new version of Elven Rage, which sucks. It's nowhere near as good as the old version, but it's what comes with the Nazgul territory. And we might even get a 1 cycle on the Witch King here. We did get a 1 cycle. That's great. That's a huge time save. And now we're on to the very final fight, which is Sauron. And we are going to see a reoccurrence of the Brutal strat. So we're going to switch the game to Brutal. And the reason is because it takes 6 strikes on Easy to build a full Might Bar against Sauron, but only 4 strikes on Brutal. So essentially we're getting 2 swings for free here. Time will come up after we defeat Sauron, but there is 3 phases for Sauron. So keep him stun locked here. Okay, not playing nice with him so far, Sauron. Two more swings. Okay, that should do it. So that's first phase down. 2 more phases to go. Everyone is going to hate me here. I call this Mecha Sauron. I know it is not Mecha Sauron, but I totally call him Mecha Sauron, and you have to deal with it because I'm probably going to say it a few times. But essentially, Mecha Sauron hits like a truck, and we're just going to try to hopefully get 2 attacks in per swing, but most of the time we're going to end up only getting 1 attack per swing from Mecha Sauron.
Yeah, Mecha Sauron would have to be made by alien invaders.
Yeah.
Different from if he had purple crystals, then it'd be Space Sauron.
Okay, so we're taking the greedy route and we're getting 2 swings most of the time here. It is very tight timing to get 2 swings in, and it can result in you losing the fight very quickly, as Mecha Sauron hits hard. Alright, phase 2 is done. Nope, Sauron has decided to glitch out and not accept that phase 2 is done. I can't move. There we go, Atariel's going to try again. Now he's accepted that phase 2 is done. There's phase 2. Now we have to wait for Sauron to stop blinking around and actually let us kill him. He's going to start blinking around. So he's blinking around, putting a bunch of fireballs down. Technically, you can catch him here with a teleport strike, but it is really hard to do. Okay, now that he's blinking, he should allow me to execute him, and oh, that's not enough damage. Almost there. Okay, time is coming up in 3, 2, oh, no, hang on. 3, 2, 1. That's time. Whew, what a run. That was not fun for RNG sakes, but it was incredibly great to show off this run, so I'm hugely thankful. Big shout out to my wife, who is amazing. Could you tell me the final time, just so I know how badly I did overestimate?
3:14.43, so not that bad.
That is bad. That's bad for me. I feel bad. Funny enough, 1 year ago, that would have actually been only a few seconds off world record, but we have massively improved the run since then, so it's not even close to world record now. And that is Middle-earth Shadow of War. I'm going to go quickly because I'm already overestimate, so I'm going to let you guys get to your very hard work. And thank you, ASM, for letting me showcase this run.
Thank you very much for that run, Rykon. Yes, coming up next is Fire Emblem Three Houses. I will be signing off. JK Sessions will be your host, taking you through to the Rise of the Sun. Thank you for watching. Thank you for continuing to watch. Donate.ozspeedruns.com.